RAPP1010 in its topic will be your class, right? And I'll go week by. So I did it last week, so it was called week 2, and today's lesson is called RAPP1010 Summer 2017 S2017 week 3. Okay, if you have to, I mean, I'm not keeping a count of who's listening to my lessons. It's just something that may help some of you, right? So if you've forgotten something, you want to go back, sure. Did any of you take the time to go and research on the automatic fill I said? Remember, I said you could use Excel. You could say, you could give the month names like January, February, and then it would fill the rest for you. Or you could do a sequence 1, 2, 3, and it will fill the rest for you. Anybody of you who went and did some research to create your own default lists? No? Okay, good. It's up to you. It's all extra work. If you don't put in extra effort, you won't learn anything extra, right? That's up to you. And you're at a stage where you should know what is good for you. So I'll tell you that feature today. I'll show you. It's come in 2016 because I have the new book, by the way. So now anything I'm doing, if I'm missing anything, I'll make it up. So I've already put the PowerPoint slides for the first 2 chapters on Blackboard. Please read through them if you like. But I see there is a new feature called Flash Fill in 2016, right? So the Flash Fill does the same kind of job. So let me see if that will help. Okay, so what we need to do today is available on the H drive and also on Blackboard if you have your own laptops, but everybody is on the college computer. So on H, A Chawla, RAPP1010, week 3, and there is a folder inside it called lesson 2. So these lesson numbers are referring directly to your lesson numbers in the book, right? So I'm keeping the lesson numbers separately from the week. So I have to do something from last week too. I haven't completed something, but I'll do this first because it's bigger, right? So again, if you would like to download your lesson 2, if you like, if you want to keep with me or do it with me, whatever works for you. I'm just sharing my lessons with you because then it's easy to kind of say done, right? If you have the book, read it. It won't take you maybe a couple of hours to read a chapter. They're just long. But if you do it with your hands, then you'll never forget it. And that's what is the main purpose, right? Practice is what is required. So if I say something and it's not clear, you can always go and research more on it and find more examples. That's how you will learn. Because in 14 weeks, then I may not be able to tell you everything. You know what I mean? Like there is a time limit here. But if something intrigues you, you can always ask. And if I have seen it before and I've done it before, I'll let you know. Otherwise, definitely I'll guide you to where to look for it, right? And that's how I learn too. So anything that's new, I have to learn it too. It doesn't matter whether I know it or I don't know it. Anything new is new for me too. So lesson 2 is available. If you want to open it up on in a different window for yourself, sure. Otherwise, I'm doing the same thing in lesson 2. As always, before you begin, everything in black and white. So basically, there will be a requirements document, and the requirement document will tell you what needs to be done. Let's try this better, right? So always keep in mind, if you can see things at one glance, try to do that, right? So if in a worksheet, you can put your table and your charts somehow, but not for unclarity. It should be clear. It has to be clear. So if you're drawing small charts and your x-axis or your y-axis is cluttered and I can't even read it properly or they're too close, then that's not what the purpose is. So you try to keep your information on one worksheet in one screen, but that doesn't mean you're losing on clarity. Don't do that. So some of you have done that. So the x-axis becomes so cluttered that the values are all together. And it's so hard to kind of see the difference between $0 and $100 and then $150. So don't make it cluttered. But the aim is human eye, right? I can only read a screen at a time and nobody likes to scroll. Nobody. It's irritating. So if you can keep your data on one worksheet in one screen, good. If not, that's perfectly fine too. If you want to keep it in different sheets, that's up to you too. But clarity is important, right? So clarity and titles and grammar, it's all important. You're presenting something. You have to follow English grammar rules. And any time in doubt, put it in Word or look it up and say, oh, that's the spelling of it, or that's how it is. It should start with a capital letter, or I don't need capital letter. You have to kind of look at it, right? You're presenting something. You have to give a good impression. You can't have spelling errors in your presentation. You can't have grammatical errors in your presentation. It doesn't work, right? Okay, so today's job, again, we'll learn some new things. Every time you come, we'll learn something new, right? So don't forget what you've learned, but we'll learn something new. So we'll learn a few things. We've already done um, formulas and functions. We'll kind of reiterate it. We'll learn new functions like max, min, and average. We'll also learn how to use reference, how you can give names to your cells, and you can, it's much easier. Calling a cell A1 or B12 makes less sense than calling a cell tax. You know what I mean? So if I say this cell is called tax, wherever you use it in a formula, if you use tax, it makes more sense rather than B12, for example. So we will learn how to give names to cells. And then we'll also talk about referencing cells. So referencing and absolute addressing, something that's important. Okay, important. And I'll again, in assignment 1, some of you did it, some of you didn't, but we'll talk about that too. So I'm not docking marks for it in assignment 1, but some of you were smart enough to kind of make that connection, and I'll talk about it. Okay, so an easy to, your needs are, so your client says, I need an easy to read worksheet that summarizes the company's salary report. So it's basically, if you kind of open up the incomplete Excel sheet that I've given you. And again, I'll try to give you something that, so that we don't waste time in class typing it in. There, right? So again, you know how to do headings and so on. So we will do that. But more importantly, I'll show you other things. Like you see something new here you haven't looked at before, hire date. So date, how do you change the format of date, right? So I'll show you how to do that. Then how to calculate percentages. You did something like that last week also. And notice how, of course, things are not clear at all. They're not clear at all. Like I can read names, the fields are not of the same size, and so on and so forth. And if there is a requirement in the assignment that make all columns of equal size, then you just do it. Don't worry about how it looks and how it doesn't look. The aim is, can you do it? Right? So if I've given you an assignment, I'm trying to check on things that I've taught you how to do. But if you don't do it, then you're going to lose marks, like irrespective of anything. You forgot a requirement to be done. So keep your eyes open. My assignment will always tell you, do this, do this, do this. And it may not be the best, but it's testing on something I've done in class. So bear with me. These are assignments. These are not real life projects you're doing. So assignments, main aim of assignments is to reiterate what I've taught in class. And of course, if you have something extra, sure, go ahead and do it. I'm always looking for anything extra and I'll give bonus marks for it. It's up to you. Anything new, anything different I see from what I've done in class, you can always fetch bonus marks. You can always make a note for me. I did this extra. And why not? Right? You've done something extra. You have to do something extra to learn to be above the average. Okay, so this is what I've given you. If you see, it's a salary report. So here is the name of the employee and then the number of dependents on the employee. Of course, you can't read clearly, but we are making educated guess. We'll definitely make it clean. The hours worked by that particular employee and his or her hourly rate. So definitely to calculate the pay, we will multiply the hour works with our pay rate. That will be my gross pay. And then of course, a tax has to be paid. A federal tax and a state tax has to be paid. And the percentage, and then what is the net pay, you will subtract all these from your gross pay. So you'll see there are formulas here, right? Also notice, just so that we can use functions, I've also said highest, lowest, and average here, basically finding the highest of maybe the gross pay, what's the highest, what's the lowest, and what's the average. So it's just a salary report, and the requirement is that it summarizes it, and then for each employee, the worksheet is to include the employee's name, which is already there, dependents, which is already there, hours worked, hourly pay rate, gross, and they've told you what columns are required, what fields are required. The worksheet also should include totals and the highest value, lowest value, and the average. So I've kind of given you what I need in a worksheet because that was all input, right? It's all data. Extra in it. I didn't do anything. I just typed it in. So to save time, I'll always give you a starting worksheet mostly, and then we'll work on it. So the data supplied includes the employee names and so on, and it's given you everything. And the calculations required are the following calculations must be made for each employee. So it's just math, but maybe you don't know how to do it, but your client will always say, this is how it is done. So we all know that to calculate the pay or the gross pay, we take how many hours worked into hours, how much are you paid per hour, and you multiply that two, and that becomes your gross pay. So I'll always give you formulas just in case you're not aware of them. So you always have them. And then there is a formula to calculate the federal tax, a formula to calculate the state tax. The tax percentage is basically what percent of your pay do you pay as tax. That's what's tax percent. Okay. And again, headings have to be very clear. It should tell me what it is. So percentage projection in the first assignment makes no sense. Percentage projection is no heading at all. It doesn't tell me what it is. Mine wasn't bad, but I've seen worse ones in the assignments. Like I said, percentage over or below the projected profit. So you could have gone profit percentage or profit change or something like that, or profit difference from projected profit. But I'm seeing headings that don't even make sense at all. I was saying mine isn't good, but mine is definitely better than the 5 or 6 that I've marked. So percentage projection doesn't make any sense at all to me. I don't know what it means. So if you have to say something, write it completely. I know it's big, but as I said, things have to be clear. So if you have to say something, you're comparing profit versus projected profit, you have to tell me that's what the row is about. So you can say percentage change of profit over projected profit. That's a good enough heading. That exactly tells me what you're comparing, right? Or you can, because we were saying how much did we go above or below. So you don't have to say over or below. That was for my clarity. I'm telling you what I need. All you could say is percentage change of profit over projected profit. So that exactly tells me what you're doing. So headings are important, titles are important. So if the titles are not important, if I don't know what you're calculating, then I'm saying, what does it mean? Remember, I don't know what you're doing. Don't expect that since I've given the assignment, I know what you're doing. If the headings are not clear, if the row titles or the column titles are not clear, I'm just your client. So they should be clear to me, right? So tax percent, it says tax percent. You can always make it better, but tax percent is not a bad title, a column title. Then it says net pay, which we all know is your pay minus the tax you give, right? And then it says compute the totals. You know how to do it. Compute the total tax percent. We'll just have to talk about it a little mathematically. Use the max min functions. They're just functions. You've seen some function. There is a max available. There is a min available. They're all available. There is an average function available also, right? So you have to learn how to write formulas and then how to use functions. So if a function is available, don't reinvent the wheel. Use the function. If a function is not available, then try to write your own formulas. So in Excel, you have functions for max, min, and average. Why would you try to do it yourself? But of course, not Excel won't have something like how to calculate gross pay because it's dependent upon the application you're working with. So whatever is available, try to use it. And you can always look it up. Who knows something is available or not? Look up Excel 2016, find maximum or find minimum, find average. You'll know. And there's another way I showed you where you can see all the functions together in Excel. You can always go here, and then here are all your functions. So try to look up, right? That's how you will learn, because I won't go through all these functions. Definitely not, right? I won't. So if you say, if I don't know if in future you're going to work with databases, there are all these. I'll use some of these for you. So you have to look up, you have to make some extra effort. If not much, 3 hours in class, maybe an hour outside class. That's good enough for Excel. That's all you will need. You don't need much. But try to learn something different or new from what we do in class. And that will help you to learn more and more. And that's how you learn. I mean, it's like math. Practice it. You have to practice it. It's like that. Computers are like that. You just can't say, oh, I understand it. You have to practice it. Okay, having said that, so always there will be, and I can't lay emphasis enough on how important it is that you have a requirement document signed by your client and yourself. Sometimes clients want exactly what they want. They won't budge. That's fine. I've had clients that will not budge at all. That's okay. So you say, okay, I don't like this. I think this is a better solution. But if the client says, no, I know what I'm doing, always get it signed by your client and sign it so that whether there are changes or whether there are no changes, whatever decision is made, you should always have a requirements document signed duly by client and by the supplier. That's you. Once your requirement document is ready, then you take your steps. And the steps could be, so you kind of draw a sketch for your client. So you'll say, this is what I'm kind of thinking of doing for you. So give him a rough sketch. Now you're seeing a few format symbols here that you haven't seen last week. We saw 9. Remember I said 9 stands for any digit. You saw the dollar sign, which is as per se, it's a dollar sign. Anything that has a decimal sign means it's a real number. Anything that doesn't have a decimal sign means it's a whole number. So whole numbers are also called integers. Real numbers are also called floats or doubles, just if you hear it, right? But normally in Excel we call them whole numbers and real numbers. There are different terms. That's more to do with computer terms, but integers is another term for whole numbers. It's an integer. And there are other names for real numbers like float, double. They're also called, they're also real numbers. Float, definitely. For real numbers, yes. Real numbers are also called floats or doubles. Right? It's just a size. Float will also do. Anything that you hear, just kind of put it in your brain so that if you hear it again, you know I know it. You can always look it up. Okay, but in general layman language, these are whole numbers and these are real numbers. We are also aware of the dollar sign. We are also aware of the percentage sign. These are just format symbols you used last time. But you haven't seen, an X again is not occurring anywhere, but X, if you remember, I said anything alphanumeric. It could be an alphabet or it could be a number. X stands for alphanumeric or text. We call it text. So text is also called alphanumeric because it's a combination of alphabets or anything alpha, commas, whatever, alpha and numbers. So that's text. Okay. Now the Z that you haven't seen is again a specifier that stands for a digit, but it stands for zero suppression. That's why it's called Z. It stands for zero suppression. Let me tell you what it is. Again, just so that you know. Now suppose you have an answer which says 0023.45. Suppose you have a number like this and there is a dollar sign, right? So now usually human beings will never put zeros in front because it looks odd, right? Some clients say, irrespective, I want it to look like this. The dollar sign always comes in a fixed location, accounting, right? And therefore, and I don't want blanks here. I want you to put zeros so that some other, like if it was a check or something, a person cannot fill it up with a number. Now, if that's what you want, if that's what your client wants, then your format is 9999.99. That's the format he wants. He wants zeros to be in the, if it is short, then 4 digits, then he wants 0 in the. That's one format. Another format is Z, and it can be anything. You can use all Z's if you like. So I won't go into too much, but I'll explain what it means. Something that they have used. Maybe he says that's the format I want. And you notice how this format has been used at many places. There are 5 Z's, sometimes there are 2 Z's. Usually they'll always put 19 for sure, because in real numbers, even if there is nothing before, we usually write 0.45, for example. Right? We always put a 0 before the point. We don't leave it that. So therefore, you will always notice. And of course, after the decimal point, you always want to see zeros or whatever it is. So everywhere you will notice that there is 19 for sure before the decimal point. So you could be 2 or it could be 3, it could be anything. This Z is called the zero suppression character. What it means is this. If there is a 0 at this position, suppress it, don't show it. Replace it by a blank, right? And if there is not a 0 at this position, just split it. So if this was the number, the first 0 will be suppressed. So you will have a blank, right? The second 0 will be suppressed because it says 0, suppress 0, suppress 0. The third one says suppress the 0, but there is no 0. So the 2 will be copied as per 0. And the last one says, irrespective of whether it's a 0 or non-zero, put the digit and the 3 will. And you will never notice that there are Z's after the point, because if there was something like 0.05, you don't want to suppress this 0.05. So either it can be all Z's or it will always have 19 before the decimal point, and of course after the decimal point it will always be. So Z stands for zero suppression, and all it means is if you see a 0, suppress it. If you don't see a 0, don't suppress it. Where it has to work like 9, it will work like zero suppressive character if that's one. So what this means is that if I don't have any digits, I want to see blanks. So it's basically, you'll say, well, how do I do that? Use the accounting format. Remember we did accounting format last week. If this was 999.99, then your dollar will move. Your dollar sign will move. It's the other one, the currency format. So you have to kind of see how your client wants it. Does he want to see your dollars always at a fixed position, or it can float. So one gives you floating dollar sign, which comes from the currency symbol using the currency format, and the second comes from using the accounting format. So here basically the client wants an accounting format. You see, these means if there is nothing, put a blank. So you should know how to read these format specifiers. They're called format specifiers because they're specifying your format. How do you want it format? They're called format specifier symbols. So these are all format specifier symbols. The 9, the Z, the dollar, the percent, they're all format specifiers. The dash, notice the date. The date says 99/99/99, only 2, not 4 of them. So the user wants to see the months in 2 digits, the day in 2 digits, and the year in 2 digits. So even if your date is first, you'll have to write it as 01. That's what he wants to see. So everything will be given to you. So you should be able to read format. So he says this is the sketch. He gives you a rough idea. Oh, there it is, X. Sorry, there it is, X. X is alphanumeric or text. Employee names are not numbers, right? So that is where you will use it. So you've seen almost all format specifiers there, at least of what you will. There are many more in the programming world, but you needn't be bothered because we're not doing that. We are doing Excel, but there are more. But as an Excel worker, you should be able to read these format specifiers. So if you have this sheet, you exactly know what your client requires. So this says use accounting format, right? This says use the percentage format. This says use the date in which I see the month, the day, and the year as 222. If you want to see year as 4 digits, it will be 9999 after the slash. And how do you choose it? It's all there. I'll show you how to choose it. But unless you know how to read it, how will you say which format do I use from the Excel?
I had a question about the date. So it's 9999, but it is date and month. How do you play?
Now those whatever is available in your Excel, you will choose from it. Usually it will depend also on the country. In India we go day, month, and year, but here we go the opposite. So you will know where you are making the application for, and you will have to follow that format. Sometimes people are they're better. What they'll do is this, and that's what I would prefer to see. They'll go like this. They'll go for month, right? /DD for day, and then Y for year. Now it's absolutely clear. Says I want to see month as 2 digits. Then the slash is a slash. Then the DD says the day has to be seen as 2. And then the YY says it has to be seen as 4. So that would be a better format, and that's what we use in programming. We usually don't go that way because that's ambiguous. Do they want to go month, day, year, or do they want to go day, month? Again, countries are different. Believe me, you'll see it all over the place. They are different in different countries. I also prefer to see 4 digits for dates, because what if it is 1999? I mean, it could be data from anywhere, right? So if I only say 99, do I mean 1999 or do I mean 2099, which hasn't come yet, but it's ambiguous. So always try to use something that is unambiguous. But again, if your client says that's what I want, then you won't be able to change it. So you can always give your ideas, always. And you can always ask for clarification. So definitely the 9s there, I have no clue whether they want it as month, day, or year, or do they want it as day, month. It's just because I will be told I know how to do it. So a better format for that is go that way. And usually everybody knows what's what's DT, and what's Y. But again, no assumptions made. No assumptions made for the common man. Though we think we know it, but not everybody knows it, right? So I know so much in programming, but I can't assume you know it, and therefore I don't try to use those words because I don't want to confuse you. Similarly, you don't want to confuse your client. We don't want to confuse our clients. And most of the times our clients will know less than us because they're not tech savvy, right? That's why they've employed us to do the work. If they already were so knowledgeable, they wouldn't. So everybody they all have their own fields. So you can't assume, oh, he doesn't even know this. No, that's not the attitude. The attitude is to give everything for a layman. So that's why I said your output, your presentation, how you present should be clear to a general layman. Don't assume anything at all. Nothing. And that's how you will always give a better output always. So keep that in mind. Clarity is important. Headings, column titles, row titles are all important. If the user, if the client doesn't know what you're trying to show in a column or in a row, the purpose is lost, right? So percentage projection doesn't make sense. Profit versus projected profit in a title doesn't make sense. Are you comparing the two in the sense one over the other? Whose are you trying to compare? Is projected profit being compared against profit, which is different from profit being compared against projected profit, because it could be a negative or a positive. You don't know. So they have to be clear. Clarity is important. Like you have to keep that in mind. And you will learn. You will learn by working, right? And I've always said, for example, if I'm comparing two things, I've seen some of you have used column charts, which is a very good comparison, because two bars or two charts, columns come side by side, right? And I can compare so easily. So there is one here and there is the other one here. This comparison is much easier. But if lines are being drawn to compare some values, this is much tougher to compare. So when you compare, use a column chart. And I did point out last time when I gave the assignment, look up what do you use for comparisons. Are column charts better? Are line charts better? Another thing, it would be so helpful if you could give me a value, 23 and 30. Now I exactly know what you're talking about. Because otherwise I'm making guesses. Because the chart will not have every number, right? It will have maybe 5, 10, 15, 20 or something like that. You don't put every number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or you don't do it. So if I see a number 20 here and I see 25 here, I'm kind of making an educated guess, oh, that's around 23 maybe or 22 maybe. Why? Just put a data label here. And now it's clear. And there are no guesses at all. So these are small things, but things that come to the notice. They do. So if I see a data label here, I'm definite, oh, that's 23, that's 13. I can see the difference. It's difficult to read here. Absolutely difficult to read. So when you're comparing something, always try to draw column charts or bar charts, whatever you like, horizontal or vertical, doesn't matter. Because it's much clearer. When you're trying to compare like expenses or income, try to draw a pie chart so that you get an idea. Do I need to show percentages? Do I need to show values? You have to decide all that. And data labels are important because otherwise I'm making guesses. Because your chart will not have, every point will not be mentioned on that chart. Okay? So small things, but very important. So with the assignment, I will give you, hopefully I'll finish it and give you my feedback and you don't make those mistakes again. But if the assignment has to be done today, then I'll give you my feedback before you start the next assignment, because I don't want you to repeat. So this is what the client may give you, or this is something that you will give to the client. But the client understands you and you understand the client. Yes?
I'm sorry about the
Z?
I didn't really
Understand it? Okay. It's a zero suppression
zero.
character. It's called a zero suppression. So if your answer has a zero in the front, like this,
Yeah.
0023.45, you could either show it like this,
Yeah.
or you could show it like this, $blank 23.
Oh, okay.
Right? That's the difference. So what this means is, if there is a zero, replace it with a blank. Therefore, it's called a zero suppression character. So notice the dollar sign will remain at a fixed position.
So it keeps everything all lined up.
Exactly. And how is that done in Excel? By using the accounting format. So this is basically saying use the accounting format for real numbers.
Okay, now I get it. Sorry.
Where is the accounting format? Last week we did it, but that's okay. You'll get it. See, if I pick this up, notice how there is general here. This was the accounting one, I think.
Oh,
The percentage. So this was the comma style. What does the comma style do? Put a comma after every 3 numbers. 1000th place. So by looking at this, I exactly know that where are you here? By looking at this, I exactly know that this client is looking for a fixed dollar sign. If there were 9s here, then if it says $999.99, then he's looking for a floating point, because if there is no number, you don't print anything at all. You don't put a blank, you just don't print anything, right? So if you see Z, you can always assume that zeros have to be replaced by blanks, which means dollar is at a fixed position. If you see 9s, then the dollar is floating. So you use the floating. That's how you read. And if you have to read, you should know what they mean. So for you, it's not so tough in the sense there are not many. X for alphanumeric, 9 for a digit, Z for a zero suppression character, point for a point, comma for the comma style, and then dollar sign. If you need a dollar sign, you put a dollar sign, and then the dates. Everything can be formatted. And where can they be formatted? I'll again reiterate it. Where is this formatting to be done from? Right? You can do so many types of, and you can create your own. You can do custom formatting also. So people who know a little more, like they're familiar with programming and all that, they know about more characters than what you see here, then they can create their own custom format. Custom formats can also be created. A little tough, but can be done, it's doable. But it does require more knowledge of regular expressions and so on. It's a little tough. Yes.
So to show the fixed dollar amount, we use the
Accounting. Yes, you use the accounting format. This one. Right? This is, and you can always open this up. You can always, and I would recommend that try to open up and see what's available. And see, this is the journal. They've given you a sample. Look at number. In the number, you have an option of increasing the decimal point, decreasing the decimal places, putting a comma if you like, showing negative numbers with a negative sign in red, in parentheses, and so on. Then you go to the next one, currency. The default, again, you can change the decimal places, though I wouldn't recommend in currency to change it, but you can. You can change the symbol if you like, right? And then again, you can do these with the negative numbers. And it will show you this sample. See, if I go like this, it will show you that's how your answer will look, 60.5. If I do something like this, it will show, it will go. But in currency, we all know we don't want to show more than 2 places after decimal. We don't want to, right? Sometimes we may want rounding, and sometimes we may want truncation. I'll show you how to do that too. Rounding means what? Where in math, rounding means if you have a number greater than 5, then you round it. So we'll come to rounding. So sometimes you want to round your numbers, and sometimes you want to just truncate them. Okay, so the difference between rounding and truncate. And I'll show you how to do that too. It's not tough. So suppose you have a very big number. Just giving an example, 1.66666666. Now, if I show something like this, it's very untidy. So I may say, oh, I only want to show 2 places after the decimal. So I can go and just say, okay, only 2 places after decimal. So it will truncate. It will just stop here. That's how it will show. It will still have this value in the cell, but to the user, this is what you will show. Formatting only means showing it in a pretty manner. That's what formatting is. But if you look at the value of the cell, it is still whatever it is. Now this is just truncation. Remove. You say I need 2 places after decimal. That's what it will do. It doesn't bother about anything. If I say, oh, whenever I have many places after digits, I want to round it off. Then I'll have to use the round function. I want to see the answer as 1.67. What is rounding? Rounding means if the number after, so you want to see 2 places of decimal. The number at the third position, if it is 5 or more, you increase the number on the left hand side. If it is less than 5, you leave it. That's rounding. So rounding is different from truncation. Rounding may or may not change it, but truncation will never change it. It will just cut off. So when you are formatting something, you're basically truncating. But if you want to round your answers, you will have to use the round function. But format just changes how it looks. That's all it does. Right? Let me show you. Let me show you what it does. Let's take an example just for the heck of it. Okay, so if I have a number and I go 1.6666666666, whatever, right? Notice what it has done. It's showing, it's already formatted it according to something. Let's see what the formatting is. It's doing a general formatting. And what does the general rule say? The general rule says, let's open it. The general rule says, general format cells have no specific number format at all. So we have no clue what it is. Okay. So see, the I input 1.66666, but it's showing it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So default in Excel is 6 places after decimal. That's what it is doing. And it is rounding it. But the value in the cell is still this. If I was to use it in some other formula, I will still use that value. So this is only how it looks. That's all it does. Let's format this. Let's format it. Go here, go to your, open up your number. Say, I want to see 2 places after decimal. Notice it says 1.67 and say, okay. It appears as 1.67, looks pretty, but do you still notice the value inside the cell? 1.66666. So this is formatting. Formatting just says, I'll show you the answer and I'll truncate. Oh, it's rounding actually. I'll round it. So that's its default nature. So you just have to look what it is doing. It's rounding. It's doing a 1.67. So that's what it is doing. And this has changed from 2013. That means 2016 has changed it. It is automatically rounding. I don't have to use the round function now. So formatting says I'll make it pretty. But what I'm emphasizing is that the value inside the cell is still this. It didn't change the value. It only showed you how it looks. That's all it changed it. And how did I do that? By formatting it. So if I have to use this in a formula, like here, if I have to say something like is equal to take this cell and then multiply by 2, just an answer, just an example. See, I still see a 3.3333. How did it go? 1.67 into 2 is not 1.333333. It used the original value. So formatting is just to make it pretty. It just doesn't change the value inside the cell. And if you have to use it in some other formula, like I did here, I said it's M7 into 2. It's still going 1.66666 into 2, which is what you see here, 3.333333. Right? So formatting just makes it pretty, doesn't change the value of it. If you really want to change the value, then you'll have to do something else. So let's do it here. Just for the heck of it, I'll go equal. I'll use the round function because I know there is a round function. I'm going to take this value, M7, comma, round it till 2 places of decimal. And it says I've rounded it. Notice the difference. What does this cell have? 1.66666. What does this cell have? 1.67. That's its value. It's not 1.66666. It's 1.67. So see the difference between formatting and rounding. Formatting just shows you, but the original value remains the same. Here the value has changed. The value is 1.67. There is nothing else. It's not 1.66. I can prove it. Go here, again do an equal to, take this number, multiply by 2. 3.34. I'm just showing you multiplying by 2 to show you the difference between 1.666 multiplied by 2 and 1.67 multiplied by 2. This still multiplied the 1.66666 by 2, but this one multiplied 1.67 by 2. So this value in the cell has changed when I do a round, whereas the value in the cell does not change when I format it. They're two different things. They're two different things, right? So where do I use formatting and where do I use rounding? You will have to see. And we never round in money. We don't. Money is never rounded because every penny counts, right? But they've kind of rounded it in format, which I don't like. I'm sure there will be some other way. I'll look it up. If I don't want to, I want to format, but I don't want to round, there should be some way. And I don't want to, if this was money, I don't want to round it to 1.67. So I'll have to look it up because this is new. They've changed the feature of formatting. They've changed it. But you don't want to round money because money is never rounded. Other values could be, but not money. So if I had 1.666, I calculated it somehow. I don't want it to become 1. I don't even want to show it as 1.67. I want to show it as 1.66. So formatting and rounding are showing the same answer, but notice when I use them, I have different answers. And therefore, formatting is different from rounding. These are small things, but things that you have to know, right? Because you'll be using it all. And it will come, don't worry. If it doesn't come right now, it will come as you do more examples. Okay? So don't stress about it. Okay, so where were we? Oops. So hopefully everything is clear here, but definitely date could be improved. But that's good that the question came up. You could be seeing MMDD, YYYY. And that's again an interpretation. MM for month, DD for day, and Y for year. And it's more common. It is, but anyway. Maybe it's not so common in Excel. I wouldn't know. But that's how it is. Okay. So wherever you see Z's in the front, it says, oh, I need to use the accounting symbol. Right? I need to use the accounting because notice the dollar sign is at a fixed position. Even if there are Z's, they will be replaced by blank. So Z says if there is a 0, it will be replaced by blank. And they also want to see a comma. I mean, you don't want to see a comma, blank, comma. The comma will also not come. The accounting symbol will take care of it. Right, so you will actually see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blanks if there were 4 zeros. The comma will also be replaced by a blank. So it's kind of neat. The only thing you have to understand is if I see Z's in the front, it's accounting. If I see 9s, it's currency. So for you, that's all you have to remember. You don't have to remember anything else. But you should know how to read it. So if your client gives you this, you should know how to read this format figure, right? Or vice versa. You can make it for your client. And hopefully I'm assuming that Z's will be understood. If not, you have to explain what it means. You'll say you will see blanks here if there is not a digit. That means the dollar sign will always come at a fixed position. And some people like it, and some people just don't want it. They want the floating point exactly next to the number. You'll never see this in banks. Never. No bank applications have this. Okay, and lastly, what I've given you is, so that's the sketch, and that's the final one. You don't have to kind of go like absolutely like that, but it would be nice to see it. So notice how a few things have been conditional formatting. I'll show you how to do conditional formatting. Depending upon a condition, you are formatting a cell. That's called conditional formatting. The others are clear. That's the employee name, the dependents. And now note something else that I should come up because it's come. There are two options. If your heading is centered, which notice all the headings are centered, right? It's nice to see the values under the headings centered if they're small values, like very small, a single digit. So they centered it here, but they chose not to center it here. They made it right aligned, right? They made it right aligned just because values were not that small. If I make this right aligned, it would look very odd. So you decide. If my heading, if my column title is centered, would it be nice to see my values also centered, right? Otherwise, by default, all numbers are right aligned and text is left aligned. By default, if I type something in a cell, if I type text, see, if I type a number, it goes towards the right. If I type text, it goes towards the left. So this is called left alignment and right alignment. You can always change it, but that's its default nature. So if you want to change the default nature, you can always choose it and you know how to change it from here, right? Alignments have to be changed from here. So it's up to you. Usually when you look at something, you will see that it looks neater this way. I'll show you. We'll try to put these dependents towards the right. It will look very odd. They're single digit numbers towards the right. It will look like the cells are empty. Here it's not so bad because the values are kind of full, right? The values are kind of full. And notice they've used the accounting symbol. The dollar is at a fixed position. They didn't bother to put dollars in the rest of the rows, and that's quite common too, because too many dollars, too much data. And then they again show a dollar in the final one. Again, they've used accounting here. So in a worksheet, usually you will go one way. It will either be accounting or it will be currency. You'll usually not mix the two. Why? For appearance. For appearance. So don't mix the two. Unless you have to, don't mix it. So keep one format. So if you remember last assignment, I said all real numbers must occur with two places after decimal and use the accounting one. I didn't say go accounting in some and go currency in some. Just for the look, how it looks. Notice something else. Any title that was bigger, like this one, hourly pay rate. Notice how it's been doubled up. So otherwise, it would take more space. If I put it in one line, then it would take more space. If it takes more space, then the cell will become bigger and it looks untidy. So that's another technique that you can use. Take your titles, whenever they are bigger, put them in different lines. You'll say, how do I put them in different lines? You can either decrease or increase the size of your column. If you increase it, it will become bigger. It will come one line. If you decrease it, it will automatically go in different lines. Or if you want to, even if the heading, the column is bigger, but you still want to put it in different lines, I'll show you how to do it. You just type it that way. That's all you do. Okay? Yes.
So how come on the rough sketch for the dates it had 222, and then for this it's 112?
Because they didn't mention anything at all. The 99 it was 99. So what is 99? 99 says it's just if a digit appears, show it. If it doesn't appear, ignore it. So they won't write it as 01. That's what it means. 9 means if there is a digit, show it, and if there is not a digit, don't show it. Therefore, the dollar sign also floats. That's why it floats. If there is no digit, it just goes to the nearest digit. So here they said 99/99/99. So
we wouldn't have to put it in
no,
222.
no, because it's a 9. If they went MMDDYYY, then it was clear. The month has to be seen as 2, days as 2, and years as 4.
Oh, because I thought that when you draw it out, it says 99/99.
Yeah, but 9 stands for a digit, and
0 is not considered a digit.
No. If then they would have said ZZ/ZZ/ZZ. They would have used the zero suppression character. Something like that. It would have been different. So 99 is not common in dates at all. I've not seen it. It's not common at all. They usually go MM, DD, YY, something like that. But it's been given here, and 9 says show a digit if there is one, don't show a digit if there is not one. Right? So usually Z's are used for numbers. Date is a different animal altogether. If you kind of look at, if you go to a date, go here, just for the heck of it, go here, then go to your formatting and go to your date. Notice there's so many date formats. See here, you choose the one you want. Do you want to see your dates like this? Do you want to see it like this? So here are dates. And these are dates plus time. You can also show date and time. But then you have to input two things, the date also and the time also. It will format it like this. Right? M, see, M only stands for month. Only the month occurs. 1 M, not 2 M's. So if it is a single digit, it will show a single digit. If there are 2 digits like 12, it will automatically show 12. That's what it means. Right? So date formats are a little different. But you choose from here. These are what is available. And the default is just not, I picked up a date, so that's what it's showing. So that's what I pick up, that's how it will show it. If I pick up this one, it will show it as 5th April, like whatever it is. Is it an April there? Yeah. So now see, I'm guessing. So it is a 5th April, that means that this is the day and this is the month. So there should be no guesswork. But again, they're assuming, oh, we are in Canada. This is more US because there is a federal tax and a state tax. So this is US. So they're assuming, oh, everybody knows that it is month, day, and year. That's not what it should be, right? Not everybody knows. It's just assuming that, oh, everything has to go that way. It's not that in India. India is different. So if I come from India and I see something like that, 4th of May. That's what I'll assume. It's 4th of May. Right? So therefore, MMs and DD and Ys are better options in dates. They're better options in date. But 9 will not show double, will not show 2. Right? Okay, having said that, now you can, so dates come in different formats. You can remove all this if you like. There. You can remove all this. Okay, now let's start working on this then. Right? We'll do a few things. We have the final requirement, like, and notice what I did here. I typed in hourly pay rate, but I only see hourly here. Whenever you want to make a, you want to kind of put it on different lines, this is how you type. I'm just giving an example. Go Anju, like I'm just putting it. So now you have to do Alt and Enter to go to a different line and say, I'm just going Chow. And it will appear like this. So when you want a break yourself, irrespective of the size of the field, type and then go Alt Enter and it will take you to the next line. Okay, that's how you put it in 2 different lines. Then it doesn't depend upon the size. It doesn't depend on the size. It will always occur in 2 different lines. Whereas if I didn't do this, if I go something like this, see, now I have to increase the size of this cell. I have to. There is no other way. If I try to decrease it, if I try to decrease it, it really doesn't, nothing happens. Like, so the only way to make something like in double lines is to type it in yourself. Type it in yourself. And how you type it is basically, just type it, like go, and now you want to, don't press enter. If you press enter, you go to the next cell. So to remain in the same cell and go to a different line, you go Alt Enter. Alt Enter. Alt Enter, right? Right, so that's what you do. So now go here. So go to this cell, type. Go Alt Enter and then go Chow, whatever. And see, it will appear in one cell. Alt Enter to be in the same cell on different lines, because Enter takes you to a different cell. And that's not what you want. Okay, so Alt Enter will keep you in the same cell on different lines. Yes. Oh, yeah, maybe that will also help now that you have it, now that you mention it. Let's try it. I think it will help too. Take this and the wrap text will come in. What do you think is the place where wrap text will come in?
Right click.
There it is. Here it is. I'm just picking an icon. Yeah, of course, right click may also. There, wrap text will also do. Both will work. Wrap text will always work because it's common everywhere, right? Now, if you want to go right click and there could be a wrap text here, but I don't see it. Format cells and then go to the format. But here, if I go alignment, You'll find it in wrap text. So I told you last week also, there are so many ways of doing the same thing. And you may be familiar with your own. Do whatever works for you.
So Alt Enter would let you format a paragraph to the width that you wanted and.
Whatever, yes, yeah. And the wrap text will always fill up the whole thing and then go to the next one. That's the difference. Good. That's something for sure that will make a difference. Wrapped, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So when you have to write, so Anju Chawla, I mean, here there was a blank, so it took it. But suppose it's a long paragraph, right? Or whatever. And you're trying to put something. Wrap text will try to put everything till the end and then go to the next line. Put everything till the end, then go to the next line. If you want to break at particular positions, then Alt Enter is the only option. But here wrap text will do, if in column titles it will do, but not in something that's bigger. Thanks, Jillian. Yeah, because that could happen too. You're writing text, bigger text. Yeah, that's definitely a difference when you're talking about text, not only column titles. So Alt Enter, it's entirely up to you where you want your new lines. Wrap text is kind of depends upon the size of your field, and it will try to fill everything till the end and then go to the next one. Fill everything, go to the next one. That's wrap text. And if you remove it, it won't wrap it. Like you can do it here too. I usually use this one because we are more familiar with this one, right? But again, as I said, there are so many ways of doing the same thing. I prefer Alt Enter because I exactly know how I want to see it, right? Then I don't even bother with wrapping this at all. So it's in your hands. So therefore, I am familiar more with Alt Enter. To me, that makes more sense. I don't have to bother at all. Irrespective of the size, I don't have to bother. See, I don't have to bother at all if I'm doing an Alt Enter. But notice now what happened to wrap text. So it will try to do whatever, and then when it doesn't find more space, it wraps to the next. That's its function. But this won't change. See, this won't change. I did an Alt Enter here. This will not. That's the major difference. Yeah, definitely in bigger, it will help. Good. So let's go Control Z, 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 Control Z. Then I think that's where we are. So this is where we are. And sometimes you may have or need to have rows and columns of different sizes. That's okay. But if the assignment says make all columns of the same size, then don't worry about it. Do it. Just do it. Whether it looks nice or it doesn't look nice, just do it. Because I'm seeing, can you do it? And one was best fit. Remember, there was a best fit also. So you can only click here and it will automatically go to the best fit. Whatever cell takes the largest will become your size. So double clicking here will just make it, this column will be of the best fit. And see, this is what I was saying. And I've seen a couple of assignments last week doing this. Notice how the values are coming on the right hand corner. It looks odd. But if I take these values and center them, start to look neater. So if the cell name is too big, if the heading is too big, the title is too big, and your values are single digited or double digited, try to center them. Centered if there is a lot of difference between the column title or wrap it. Not wrap it, we'll do adjust it. I'll call it adjustment with Alt Enters. If it's quite a big, like notice here, it doesn't look too bad. But again, I would prefer you to use one way of kind of keeping data. I wouldn't like kind of doing something centered and sometime right aligned. The rest are all right aligned. I wouldn't prefer it just because it looks different, but only the dependents was causing a misfit. So dependents are in the middle, the rest all is right aligned. So right aligned numbers are by default right aligned and text by default is left aligned. But definitely make it a point to always center your column headings and your row headings. Sometimes people do this. They'll kind of, for example, expenses will go to the right and the subheadings will go to the left. So they'll try to adjust it, whatever works for you. But column titles are usually, notice they're all centered. They will look very odd left aligned. Yes.
So for the assignments, do you want them the numbers to be centered?
I'll tell you, otherwise I will leave it to you. You should be able to see, because nobody is going to tell you when you work how they look nice. So you'll have to learn to do things yourself. So in this one, I'll answer your question. In this, no problem at all. In this one, I would like to see this, which is because it was looking so odd the other way. See? So sometimes you can make your decisions and I'll give you my comments, but that doesn't mean I'm docking off marks for it. You know what I mean? But I'll say they'll look better centered. Just so that you pay attention to it maybe next time. Maybe you didn't even pay attention to it.
Because if you were to move all the like the actual
The whole everything.
numbers, it would look really awkward. I
Could
tried
be.
to do it.
Yeah. See, I said I don't know. Like I'm seeing. So maybe just leave them or right align.
Especially if it's in accounting, because then it looks very
Yeah, in accounting,
Yeah.
definitely. Exactly. In accounting, they may look odd. You're right. They may. Because the dollar sign to the left, then the number and nothing to the right. Yep. Then they will look better right align.
You know what? I was watching everything you said about RAPP,
Mm-hmm.
and I get the alt enter thing,
Mhm.
and that worked, but then.
The wrap text, try putting it, try putting something here. Say,
So,
so just go.
okay, so let's just like, you spell out your name.
Yeah.
But then I can't click on wrap text because it's not like initiated.
Oh, so you know what? Maybe because maybe this row already has been formatted somewhere. Try to put it somewhere else.
Oh, so you put it down lower.
Let's try. Or come to the other cell. If it was not formatted, see here, now I can do it. Just come out of it. So it's not formatted. It's just you were here and it was grayed out. Try it again. Try it again. So you just come out of it. Right? Just come out. Do an enter and then go back. It's not the formatted. I thought maybe they had formatted the row in some way. Yeah, just go back. That's one way, yeah. And sometimes you may not be able to do things because it's already formatted some way. Then you'll have to go and see if they formatted some way. But this is not. We went to the cell and came back, it's not formatted. Sometimes they format the whole row in a certain way. I don't think they have. This is just alt enter, if I can remember. Yep, there's nothing, there's no formatting. Usually the formatting will come back here. If I go here and I see it says, oh, it's a date. See, it's a date. And notice how I've entered it. But again, dates they have been formatted. So if I try to put anything here, see, automatically it becomes. You have to be very careful about dates. And notice I put in, like I did something like this. I just went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How did it change to 1, 3, 2, 38? They did a math with it. Some math goes on. And you have to be very careful with dates. Dates are finicky. So the best way to enter dates is like enter them like 1, 3, whatever, 20, 30, like this. Enter them as dates. When you enter them as numbers, there's a difference.
Do you want the dates formatted the American style?
That's what we were talking about. We have to know how they have to be formatted, right? Because there was nothing on the chart which said how they have to be formatted. The chart only gave me 9 9s. But does that mean month, day, day, year, year? Or does it mean day, day, month, year, year? So it's always better to use M's, D's, and Y's in your formats. That's what we usually do in the programming world. Yeah, right. So again, as I said, like we don't know, and there should be no ambiguity between you and your client. So the client says this, and you're saying, what's that? Is it done month, day, year, or is it done day, month, year?
Yeah, so it's time frame, shorter to longer to long.
Okay, so it's
ISO.
okay. Shortest
So
to
day,
the
month.
next. Okay, so the month is the shortest, then comes the day, and then comes the year.
The day is a shorter interval than a month.
No, but the month only goes till 12, right? 1 to 12. We're talking about values. Days go bigger. That's why it's
Yeah,
month.
they're talking about time increments. Yeah.
Oh, time increments.
Span
Okay.
of the month.
Yeah. Okay. That way. So I would go MMDDs. That's much clearer. But
The US logic.
yeah, right. Okay. I'm not aware if there was. I didn't know there was a logic behind it. There. Are you okay? Yeah. So if it doesn't format, if it's not pre-formatted somehow, then you can always. And you know what? If you can always clear formats. If I come here, there is always, you can always clear formats if you want. And I can't see because of my, I think, but you should see a clear format. No, just because my, I don't see the whole thing. You can always do clearing of formats. If I go here, my screen becomes smaller, but now I'll have to search. It could be somewhere in formatting, right? So maybe review. No, not in review. Then you have to think where it could be. Formulas, of course. Page layout, maybe. No. I see fonts, colors, and effects. It's usually here. Usually you'll see a clear format here. Oh, no, that's your sum. That's your, let's see, maybe this, that's clear. There it is, clear formats. So if you don't like a format, you can always clear your formats. You can always clear everything. You can always clear your contents. You can clear comments. Comments can also be written. Now I forget in Excel how it's not so tough. How do you write comments in Excel?
Clear.
Clear, if you wanted to clear a format in a particular cell. So suppose this one, I select this cell and then I go home and then I go clear format. Oh, no, not you. Clear format. So clear format means clear the format from that cell. And notice what I'm getting. I'm sure there is some math to it. I'll have to look it up. The 40273 changed to, and I'll change back it to date. I think short date. So there is, so how you input dates is important. You just can't put numbers in it because it does some math from 1900 or 1800 something, subtracts it, finds the days and so on. So put a date like a date and you'll be okay. I think so. Yeah. Almost all software packages have the same start date. Some 1st January of something. I can't remember, 1900, I think. Usually it's 1900. I don't know about SPSS. Yeah. In our programming languages, it is usually 1900. Okay, right? Having said that, okay, now let's start to work. Okay, how do we work? Oh, we have to see what we need to do, right? So you have the document. I'll show you what, girls, please. So I'll show you what needs to be done in this one, and then we'll take it from there. So we'll learn a few new things from last week. We will repeat a few things from last week. So this hire date, I shouldn't have done it, but since I've already done it, you should see how you want to format your dates. Okay, so you choose something and you go to your formatting, right? And it's like, you could always do it from here. It's always a good idea. That's how you will learn. It's always a good idea to, let's pin this so that I don't have to keep doing it. Okay, let's pin this. So you go here. This is one way of doing it. You can always go back here, and if you exactly know what you're looking for, you want a short date, you want an accounting, you want a currency, you want a number, no specific format, want to see a time, and so on, you can choose from here. And if it makes sense, that's perfectly fine. Oh, bless you. If you learn a little more, you can always go here. And in date, notice there are so many other options. So they've put the common ones up there. Short date and long date are common, but these others are not so common. So you can always come here and say, oh, I want to choose this one. I want to choose this one. So that's how dates are formatted. Okay, this is called formatting of dates. So to format dates, it's always a good idea to format them whatever way you want and then enter them that way. You can't enter numbers. You can't say if today is 25th of May, you can't just input it as 5/25/2017. It won't work. It won't work that way. As a number, it won't work. Just in a row, it won't work. You'll have to format it. Okay, so let's start with what we are doing. So yes. No, this is just 4. The 9 said 9 means if there is no digit, it will not. But there is, if you want to format it some other way. Yeah, but you see the 9 here doesn't mean 9, just means a digit. Yeah, but digit means if there is a 0, it won't show up. That's the default nature of 9. So again, I said this date is very ambiguous. I don't know what it wants. I really don't. I had to look at their final sheet to see what they want. It's very ambiguous. Like I have no clue what 99/9999 means in a date. I've never seen it. We've used 9s and Z's in data, but I've never used 9s in dates. It's not the usual practice. So I know it's confusing. And you know what? I've never seen a 9s in dates. We don't see 9s in dates. Dates always have M's, D's, and Y's to be used. That's what it means. But usually, like, I've never seen a 9, so I don't know what it meant. I had to look at the final sheet to see what they meant. So I can't really comment on it. I really can't. You could say, oh, I want a 0 in front of it. Then you go here, you choose a date where you see a 0. This one, choose this one, if that's how you want, and then do an OK. You do it this way if you want. So I don't know what the 9, I really don't know. It's very odd for me. And if you just want to use the normal date, like the short date, go like this. I don't like, it's really odd. Maybe it's just a practice in Excel. I don't know. Like, how would you know what is required? So this is like we write it commonly, like normal person will never put a 04. We don't. in usual life. So I'm assuming that's what it means. Okay, so let's start, guys, right? Are we ready? So if you have, oh my God, already 10:15. Okay, you can do the usual. I won't do things that we've already done. You've already done the merging, right? We did the merging. You can always change. You can always change and go to a particular cell style if you want. You can create your own style if you want. You can go to cell style if you want a heading, or if you want heading ones or heading threes or fours, or give it an accent or whatever. I mean, these are small things. I'm sure you can do. You want to give it a title, sure. Like this, we've already done. So again, you can center and merge. And if you don't like how it is working this way, you can always choose from here. Right, so these are the two options. So again, if there is no, unless there is a coloring scheme given to you, you can make your own coloring schemes. So they've kind of filled both of them with a light green color for whatever reason. Maybe that's what their coloring scheme is. The hypermass online storage doesn't look like a title to me. It's more of a heading to me, but that's something that you can take care yourself. And I see the salary report in a little more bold than in anything else. So these are small things. I'm sure you can work on this. This is something you did last week also. So you can fill from here. You can change the text color from here. You can increase or decrease the font from here, or you can always change your fonts from here. Again, keep in mind, pastel colors that are appealing to eyes will always be lighter. Don't go dark. Don't go reds and yellows and so on. You don't have to, unless you really have to highlight something. Like they highlighted, for whatever reason, they've highlighted this in red because they're trying to bring your attention to it. But headings, unless there is really a color scheme, I wouldn't go with dark colors. And again, you can learn about all this online, right? There are huge things about it. So if you kind of say color schemes on web pages, you'll find help on it. Like I was talking about comparison. When you're trying to compare two values, don't use line charts. That's not how you compare. It's not easy. It's not wrong, but there are better ways of doing it. So column chart is a better way of comparing two values. And a couple of you in assignment 1 have used line graphs to compare profit and projected profit. It's so tough to, I mean, they don't data labels, so I don't even know what the values are. And the lines are just, so this was still okay. There was, oh my God, bless you. Oh my God. Was it 10? Did you think you made a 10? Hat trick for sure, right? So lines, two lines, how can I compare it? Like, it's so difficult. But if two columns are occurring side by side, oh, I can compare. And if I can see data labels, that's better. So keep in mind, everybody has their own preferences of colors, of things, but then there are certain conventions, not rules, but there are certain conventions or certain understanding that everybody kind of agrees. So I think we can vote for it. I think comparisons are done much better with column charts rather than line graphs. That's what I've seen on the web, because I'm a programmer and web pages is something I also create. That's what I've seen whenever you want to compare. So I don't know why would you use line graphs to compare two values. They're not easy. Seeing data labels would be easy to see. You can read values, it would be easy. So increase the size of your chart for clarity. If you want to show data labels, it's always good. But if they're becoming too cluttered, only show prominent ones if you're showing something. But comparison, I don't know why would you use line charts. I've never seen it. But anyway, so try to do things that are accepted by 90% of the general public. You know what I mean? So exactly. You have to. That's what I mentioned last week. I said, please go and look. Are column charts well suited for comparison, or are line charts? And I know column charts are, because I've worked on it, right? Having mentioned it in class, but if you're still repeating it in an assignment, that means you're not paying attention, right? Like you're not bothering to kind of even look up or even pay attention to what I'm saying. You're just saying, oh, line charts is how I'll compare my profits and projected profit. So that's kind of saying, you know what, you've not either listened or you're not even done your research. So always try to look for things. And I did make a point last week, because I knew when you would draw graphs, you would think, oh, should I use a pie chart? Should I use a line chart? Should I use a column chart? And the other thing is Excel helps you also. Excel helps you. Though I wouldn't go on Excel's help at all. I would go on researching. Okay, so we can do this. You can do all this small things you can do. You can center things. We can make this of the same size. They are of the same size, but we would like them to be of the same size. So you can always select them together. You can always do a right click. You can always say column width, and you can always go, I don't know, I'm trying 15. Oops, doesn't look, 15 is too big. 15 is too big, right? So definitely, I think 8 point something is the default. Or if not, you can always make them of different sizes. That's not too bad. I'm still in one worksheet and it's not too bad.
Well, almost works for the employee name.
Okay, employee name. Oh no, it doesn't. Oops, employee name is still more. 14?
14.45 is where I'm at.
And as I said, you can again do something. Your first column can be bigger because usually it will have your type headings, right? Subheadings. Otherwise, try to keep them of the same size. So you can make educated guesses. This doesn't look bad at all to me, right? The name needs more, so I'll keep the name a little bigger. These all look okay. I think I did a 10. 10, I think I did a 10. And then of course, what I would like to see for sure, and you will see, you will like it too, always try to center your column headings. With row headings, I leave it. There are no row headings here, but there are a few here. Because the names are on the left, I've left my headings also onto the left. I don't want to center them, but if you would like to stand it out, like make it stand out, then you can always center them, right? With totals, always try to format using the total. It looks nice. Again, there is no like rule to it, but usually totals look nice this way. Right? But if it is occurring in the middle of something and you don't want it, don't do it. Like you have to make some independent good decisions. Oh, just by selecting the whole thing and then going to cell style and then choosing total from it.
Oh,
Cell styles. Remember, we learned how to make our own cell style also last week. So I don't know. I mean, if something is given to you, they did totals actually, and they made this row a little bigger so that it looks like instead of leaving an empty row, they made this row a little bigger. So we can do that too. Looks neat. And you live and learn. So you can go cell styles, you can go total. And in this one, they increase the cells. Go again, right click, change the row height. It's 15. I'll go, I don't know, 17 or 18 something. And there's now, 18 doesn't look too good. Okay. Didn't do the job it was supposed to do. 22 maybe, I don't know. There. So now it looks like there is an empty row in between total and highest, but I just increased the size of the cell. So as you can change the column width, you can change the row height, right? So live and learn, right? So here they've used an alt enter. How do you know they've used an alt enter? Because see, when I click on it, I only see hours. I don't see worked. Worked is there for your information. Worked is there. You just don't see it, right? Because of the alt enter, you don't see it. But there it is there. If you kind of increase it, there it is. Right, so wrapping is different from alt enter in some cases. In some it may not be, but so I do an alt enter just because it's easy. So you'll see, oh, I see where. Oh, did I remove it? No, I didn't. Okay, there. Click away from it. I thought I removed it. Click away from it. So if I only do this, I say, oh, where is the pay rate? The pay rate is here. It's on a different line. It's just on a different line. Let's see if we can do this from here without doing an alt enter. No, we can't. We have to do an alt enter. So I use alt enter. Therefore, I knew about alt enter because that's how I do it. I hardly ever use wrap text wrap because it's not in my hands. It's not in my control. Programmers like everything to be under their control. They try to program rather than use, right? So that's the difference. Okay, so they had centered this. Again, the centering was just because it looked neater. Right, and Kat was mentioning that if you do it if you kind of center them and then do the accounting symbol, it wasn't looking too neat. You can always all select together like this, and like, oh, they don't want it they just want it in the first row. So before entering values, you can always go and do accounting here. You can do it before you enter values. You can do it before you enter values. You don't have to do it after you enter values. So they wanted it here. I didn't see it everywhere. So therefore, I just remembered. But otherwise, if they want it everywhere, we could have selected everything together. And then they want it, of course, hours worked won't have a dollar sign. Oops, I think I did it. And then starting from E to whatever, I. They have done accounting and then they've done it in first rows. So again, decide how they want it. And just do it. Oh, notice something in the highest, lowest average? Currency. Highest, lowest currency. Did it say in the chart? I don't recollect. Oh, wrong one. No, they didn't. See, the chart is different from, they didn't say it in the chart. Notice how in the chart they were using Z's. Z's means fixed, but in the output they're showing a currency. So here is a mistake. The chart given and the final worksheet are different. If they wanted the floating one, they would have said 9 nines here. They would have said 9 nines here. Because 9 says if there is no digit, don't bother about it. Z says if there is no digit, replace it by a blank. That's the difference between Z and 9. Okay. So it was just different and I just noticed it. So be careful. I mean, we can do whatever we want, but according to these were double nines. So 2 nines. Again, 9 means a 0 appears. If it is a digit, non-zero digit, it appears. Otherwise, it doesn't appear. Okay. So that's how I'm taking this 9 also in its usual meaning. Okay. So you can do all. So hours worked. Of course, how silly can that be? Hours worked cannot be numeric like accounting, right? So definitely we don't have to touch this one. They kind of did this and we've already done. See, you bring your mouse over it, you will see if it has been changed. So it will appear here. This is general, general will appear here. It tells you what it is. And I think everywhere here in highest and lowest, they wanted a 999 here. So we don't have to do anything here. But here they wanted again accounting. So select it together, not the higher date. Select it together like this and you can go accounting from here. Everything now, anything you enter will automatically come in the accounting center. So you can format before you enter, you can format after you enter. Except dates. Be careful with dates. Those are the only kind of finicky ones. We'll take a break here. Before I know, otherwise it will never end. Oh, okay, that's okay. As long as whatever I'm doing helps. Then we'll come back. The formulas, I'll show you another way of doing it. Instead of kind of guessing, I'll show you the point mode. I definitely want to talk about naming cells because that's important. I don't think we'll be able to do an assignment today. Doesn't look like. That's okay. No big deal. Okay, so I'll just kind of, oh, this is going in incomplete. So all of you have picked up the incomplete, or I'll save it as. Let me do a save as. Let's call it complete. It's not complete, but I'm just keeping the incomplete just in case you want to pick it up again or you mess up. There. Right, so headings, I think you're all good with. I didn't find anything wrong in headings in your assignment. But definitely a few things that I found was headings were not clear. Percentage projection makes no sense. Profit versus projected profit makes no sense. You're not saying versus in what way. You're not saying over or under. You could say profit change or something. So you have to think a little. Yes.
See how cell number 14 is twice as thick as the rest?
Yeah, I made it. I went here. I did a right click. I said change the row height to 22.
Oh.
I did it.
Oh.
No problem.
Row height.
Yeah, row height. As there is column width, there is row height.
22. Sorry if I made you.
That's okay. That's fine.
Did you already explain that one?
That's okay. Yeah, I did. Because remember when I went here, I saw this height was bigger.
Oh, yeah.
I said, oh, that's a wider cell. And so I came back and did it. No big deal. It's not a big deal. You just have to practice a little more and you'll become better. You will. Everybody does. Because you're listening to it for the first time. Ten to 11. Okay. And we'll continue.
I know you said no assignment today, but I have completed most of the assignment just because I know I'm familiar with the program.
Which assignment have you completed?
The lesson 2.
Is there something on
This, no,
Blackboard?
this one right
Oh,
here.
this one. Okay,
Yes.
okay. When I mean assignment, I give you something else.
Oh, okay, cool.
I give you a question.
I just have one question. That would be with regards to this one right here. I'm just not understanding what it, I think it's this, yeah.
Yeah, it is more for me than for you, but
Okay.
anyway.
I don't understand.
That's
that
okay.
one
So if they wanted, I think greater than 80, I select all this, right? I go to conditional formatting.
Okay, yeah, no, I got that first part. It's the second part with the
Oh, it's just changing the color.
dialogue. The dialogue.
Yeah, yeah, here, that's all it means.
So is it
go
the
to-
same, it's the same ones?
Yeah, yeah, it is. So if you are, I don't know, if you're doing a rule or managing a rule or making
Okay.
a new rule. So here you go format here, right? And here you
Oh,
go.
okay.
So this is what I was talking about, format it. Right? This is what I was formatting.
Okay,
In the
I'm
same
just not
click
familiar
format.
with what C1R1
Oh, that's for
is.
any column 1, row 1. I was saying which color to take. That's
Oh,
my notes. That's why I've said it's for me so that I don't miss anything. Right?
okay.
So format. So if you want a color, so I was saying which color to choose. So I said choose color column 1, row 1 kind of. That's for me.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
No problem. So I just gave it to you because that way at least have it. But sometimes there could be my shorthand. C1R1 is column 1, row 1.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, I just thought it would be easy if you had it in writing.
I have a question.
Yes.
So
I have a question first.
Okay.
Are you Lexine or are you?
Solani.
Ah, okay.
That's Lexi.
Oh, okay. So that's Lexine and you are Solani?
Yeah. Level
Up.
L. L. There.
Oh, so your last name was with L. See, that's why I got confused.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Solani and Lexine. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that, but I want it straight. So 2 at a time is enough. Solani and Lexine. Lexine. Yes. Now your question. Thank you for bearing with me.
So when you say the whole like Z999,
Z? Yeah.
is that something we're supposed to enter in here? or
No,
is
no,
that-
no.
Okay.
It's an interpretation. The
Okay.
interpretation is that zeros
That's what
have
it
to
should
be
look like.
suppressed.
Okay.
Zero suppressed means they want to see blanks here.
Yeah.
So if they want to see blank, that means the dollar sign is occurring at a fixed position.
Okay.
So that means we have to use the accounting format.
Okay. So it's
Right.
not something that we would like.
No, you
enter
wouldn't.
anywhere to
This
use
is
the
a format symbol, right?
Okay.
Where if it was all lines, it simply means, oh, if there is a digit, show it. If there is no digit, if it's a zero, don't show it. So that
Okay.
means the dollar sign will dance, like
Okay.
move. That means they want a currency symbol.
Oh, I see. Okay.
They want currency
So it's
format.
just the only difference is that in formatting, you use
Yes.
accounting and not using it on-
Exactly.
Okay.
That's your interpretation,
Yeah.
right? Yes.
So your general, last week my mom almost died.
Oh my God.
Respiratory failure. She's all right. She's back to her senior residence.
Does she live alone?
She's in a senior's
Oh,
residence.
she's in a residence, and they couldn't maybe she was admitted.
Oh no, she called. And I gave her a password and that didn't work. And called an ambulance, took her to the hospital. That was last week.
Yeah.
And this week, my husband and I decided to separate. So,
How many years?
since 99,
And now you decided to separate?
Yes.
he's PTSD. And September, he's now become a trigger for our daughter's panic attacks.
So your daughter has panic attacks, like you kind of. So you decided to disappear.
This would be his trigger and who's
So to keep them separated. So will you be able to manage on his own?
He's figuring out what he's going to do.
So it was your decision that for your daughter you would do.
Well, we've known, and he came to the doctor on Tuesday afternoon,
So your daughter has some problems when he gets angry.
she's, at this point, she's just got,
How old is she?
she's 15. 16.
At that
She's getting we're working with that,
everything.
and we're just sort of figuring out that probably he's got PTSD from his anger. Close your eyes. stuff on here because I have to put that stuff right.
What do you do? Like to adjust from for everybody.
So this morning I was dropping my kids in nature. For the news.
You just have one daughter.
A good daughter and the second one is
People have so many problems, and sometimes we think we have problems. But I think, by the grace of God, there's nothing like this.
luckily I've done a lot of work in Excel. I have never worked with charts and stuff.
Never got it?
Another work with charts, with charting.
Oh, okay. And that's just practice.
So, yeah. Familiarity with it.
Exactly. Yeah.
I was an insurance broker, but we never gave.
Yeah, that's why I was amazed when you drew a line chart for me. I said, why would Julian draw a line chart to compare two things? Because comparison is almost so easy when you see something side by side, and
I find the vertical bars, they just, to me, they look funky.
yeah, but you
So,
could always make them
yeah.
thinner. You know what I mean? Like you could
Yeah.
make that with a line, you can never compare anything. Line charts are more when you use a univariate. If you're trying to show a trend, that is where
Right.
they will be used.
Yeah. And I
But
was thinking
comparison-
we were trying to do more of a trend than.
Yeah, but remember this was comparison. This was to compare the profit. So comparison always helps. You draw bar charts or you draw column charts. Something that you can do it.
I was just saying.
Yeah. And this is still not bad because there were only three values. But think of comparison when the values are more and they are like this was
Yeah,
still
if
here.
it's not, so
Yeah.
if you don't have a progression, where
Yeah.
you can actually show that there is.
Exactly. Yeah. So like that's something that definitely should be kept in mind because and again, you know what research helps. I don't know all answers even. Whenever I'm kind of confused, I'll go and say, let's see what's out there because you have to follow
Yeah.
what's going on.
So I mean, for me, I just submitted it for that class, so it was,
Whatever it is. Yeah. That's the only thing that kind of struck me.
I was trying to figure out,
I swear I
because
read
at
it
that point, like, my husband went at West right after exams last semester. So last week, he was on his way home, and we didn't know when he was getting home. And I was trying to plan when I was going to go to Kingston to see my mom. And she was still in hospital, she was still in ICU at that point.
Kingston, okay, that's another 2.5 3 hours drive.
So I just,
No, it was fine otherwise, but it just struck me that you wouldn't be doing it just because you have more experience.
yeah, but I mean, the experience I had, yes, is good, but I haven't ever really worked with data that way.
Yeah, and then not with web pages,
I mean,
maybe.
I've used Excel to do premium calculations and to change rates and.
So more on the back, more on the financial side.
Probably a little, yeah, like,
Because you said you were working with a
I was an insurance broker.
insurance broker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that kind of thing. Okay.
So yeah, like in 2007 through 10 kind of thing, I had a client where they're across the country. And so I would have spreadsheets for each of them and,
Yep.
their rates for their exposures
Yeah,
are
and it's not
different.
tough. Excel is so
So,
easy.
Yeah.
But
And
your
then-
aim is to do statistical functions in Excel so that if somebody doesn't have SPSS in their organization, you can use it.
Yeah, which is.
Which is what it is,
different,
yeah.
or,
Yeah.
We were just trying to show,
Yeah.
this is how we came, this is where all your costs are coming up, and,
Mhm.
your building costs this much, and this is the rate, and here's your premium, and there's the tax.
More like just a chart, but like a sheet. Yeah. Tough going for you. So whenever you have a prop, like whenever you think you will need more time or something, just let me know personally. We'll work it out. Okay? Because
So anyway, I just want to let you know, this course, I'm not expecting to run into too many difficulties. I love the all-time thank you. It's like forever, I've never known how to do that.
all day. And I just
And then
know-
the other had to be away, but like it's.
Yeah,
it's
and I
never
think
been
I
something that
I don't know, maybe I know
we're
it from my programming thing, something, because there you keep using all this, like you know about escape sequences. And I've never thought about wrap text being different from alternative, but now that you mention it, it is, right?
And you can use them both.
Yeah, and you can use them both. Right. So that was, I never thought about that.
Yeah. So computer science side of things. would you have like students that would be interested in mentoring maybe my daughter? She loved the grade 11.
What did she do? Yeah, exactly. What does she need?
Well, she just had the computer science class last year in grade 10.
Do you live in Delhi?
Yeah.
So are you looking
So last
to pay
semester,
somebody to tutor?
possibly.
Like our students are more programmers, but they would know like that's what depends. What does she want to learn?
She wants to learn. So I just recommended to her that that would be a good thing to learn.
There are many languages, and you know what? You don't know. Like Python is going good. Java is going very good.
Yeah, I
But
think
then
she's
they're
been
tough.
working in Java
Okay.
already.
Okay.
The computer science course she did.
Okay. And she likes it?
Yeah, like
She
that
loves
was,
it.
she took it last semester and her average last semester was 96.
So she knows what she's doing.
So now she's doing e-learning and struggling.
That's another thing I was mentioning. Maybe she doesn't need a personal tutor. Maybe she can do some online.
Yeah, and I've started trying to call you, but I think it's somebody there giving her the encouragement and just suggestions and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like we're all ADHD, so the initiating it is not tough for her. And right now,
Yeah, I can talk to some of my good students who I think,
yeah,
but I don't know whether they can just, you know what I mean? Like, because they have their own so much going on. Because she needs, if it was just sometimes I could help her out, but since she
yeah, I'm
needs
just
some-
trying to figure out like where can we get her some more access to computer science learning without it being perhaps in the school system.
You're aware there are a few good websites, like lynda.com is a good one.
I've seen that one, and there's a Twitter account I just started
Okay, I don't know about that. Lynda.com I've used.
following, and they do like Wednesday nights. They do online
Oh,
things, web
Twitter
chat
does
type things. Yeah. Well, not Twitter, but a Twitter account that I found.
okay, okay. Yeah, that would help. But again, if you say that she needs some pushing, and some people do, like
Yeah.
I'm not a good
I
person
don't know
to
if it's
learn
pushing
on
or more like
encouragement.
yeah, mentoring more.
Because even I'm not good at learning stuff online. I would like to have a mentor.
Yeah.
People are different. Like I would like to be in class to listen to somebody who knows rather than just learn. So once I have it, then I can learn more. But to start something, I would like to have somebody who has already had experience with it. Everybody
Like
has-
sequence, I think stuff.
Yeah, I can always put up an announcement on Blackboard saying, once you let me know what exactly, how many days a week or what time and so on, so that, and if students let me know and they're good, then I can kind of connect you. Okay?
Hi, I'm not going to be here next week because of the NRI case competition. I was wondering.
Same as CAT?
Yeah, there's 6 of us.
Okay.
Yeah, there's 2 teams of 3.
I'm thinking what should I do about it because either I make it a take home assignment and then everybody just does it at the same time.
Okay.
So whatever it will be, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
Right?
Did you get the email from Patrick for our team?
I haven't checked, but I don't
Okay.
think so.
I think he said that he sent an email last week. I'll double check with him because I know he sent one for
No, I
some
don't.
of our other classes. I don't know if he did this class. If not, I'll send an email.
Okay, yeah, just let me know the people who are involved
Yeah.
and
Okay.
so that I have an idea.
Okay.
Yeah, Katrina just sent me one.
Okay.
Yeah, so as long as I know what's going on, then I can try to figure out how to do it, right?
Just like want to have like something cleared out because you had like a background in programming. So I thought you'd be like the best person to ask. So I don't have like much of a background in Excel. So from a programmer's perspective, how much of Excel are you supposed to? And what is like the best way to learn it?
The best way is to practice, but do programmers need to know Excel?
I know, yeah, exactly, because
We use a programming language, right?
I mean, I have a background in Java and .NET.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I noticed the Visual Studio you had on your screen. So I have a background in that, but considering that I'm taking the research analyst course,
Then you have to know
yeah.
Excel, right?
So
The best way is just to practice.
yeah, I'm actually planning to go into the data analyst side of things. So I don't know like how much.
No, it will depend. It will depend. Do you want to do the data analysis using programming, or do you want to?
I would prefer, but
But remember, then that's more of a programmer's job rather than an analyst's job.
yeah.
So they're two different fields. Excel and SPSS, and these are ready-made packages that help you to do things. They're already done for you, right?
Yeah.
Whereas when you write programs, you do things from scratch.
Yeah, exactly.
So it depends on your interest. Where would you like to?
Yeah, and I mean, like I think you have a mix of both, right?
Yeah,
like,
I do.
you have
But
good
I
Excel
never use
knowledge.
Excel in my program.
Yeah, I mean, but you still have good Excel knowledge and the programming knowledge. So do you think
Programming
it's
is
like
my more
added
expertise. Excel is just
benefit?
because I teach it. I had to learn it.
Okay.
I don't use it at all otherwise. I've just learned it by doing stuff.
Okay, so from a work perspective, it wouldn't give you any added benefit.
Not if I wanted to be a programmer.
Okay, because actually, like in last semester, we had access.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's a little different.
yeah, because like I had a background in database administration as well,
Mhm.
so I know SQL and things like that.
That's
but,
different. Remember,
but that was
databases,
different
yeah.
because SQL was backend and Access was front end.
Mhm.
But then
No, Access is just a database.
yeah, exactly.
It's just a relational database. So
Yeah.
they were using SQL, and that's why, and we use it all the time in
Yeah,
programming.
and then we have more of retrieval things and things like that.
But Excel,
So like right now I'm like in a very confused stage. So like I'm just new to Canada.
yeah, but it depends. See, these courses that you're doing in this RAPP course are more geared towards analysis, no programming, but analysis. But if you want to be a programmer, that's a different thing altogether, right?
Yeah, but I only have like work experience in programming. That's like maybe I have a total of 3 years, and I don't know if that would even count here.
But it depends upon how good you are in programming. So you don't have any formal education in programming.
No, actually, I mean I am a engineer by.
But yeah, but do you have a programming like a
Yeah, I
computer science degree or something?
No, my degree was in electrical engineering, but you know how it's in India, right? After your engineering, mostly you go into the IT.
You do, yeah.
So
you have to decide what you want to do and then kind of gear towards it.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of two different fields in the sense that this is more using software and that's more creating software, right? Yeah, but I mean, we do data analysis in like big data is all over now.
Yeah, big data is there.
But remember that big data is not expecting you to write programs.
Yeah, exactly.
It's more of analysis.
Yeah, I actually went to this big data university. They have like Hadoop courses and
Oh, do they? Okay.
yeah, and I think they give you like free certificates if you finish the course. It's
Try
free.
some online.
So I just started with those like this.
What is this? I haven't seen it.
Actually, my professor in the last semester, he told me it's called bigdatauniversity.com. Like, you know how in Coursera, they don't actually give you a proper certificate at the end, like unless you pay them some amount. But in this, if you finish it, they actually give you like a course completion certificate and the badges. So
That's interesting.
Yeah, they have Hadoop, they have Scala, they have Python, but mostly all data.
I wanted to
analysis
attend the
software.
big data course that runs at the college.
Yeah, the big data.
Yeah, but
analytics.
I haven't had a chance yet. I want to
Initially,
attend
I
that.
was actually thinking of taking that
That,
course because I thought it had more background for what I did, but it didn't have a co-op, and I thought maybe the co-op would help me actually.
Yeah, I don't know what the big data has because it's just started last fall.
Yeah.
So I'm not really aware of it. I don't know if there is more analysis there or is there more. I think
They have programming, but I think for somebody who already knows programming, it's not a lot new.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
The big data analysis is more analysis,
Yeah,
more this way
Yeah.
than programming.
So, but even some of the job openings, they're asking for everything. They're asking
Everything, exactly.
if
You have to know everything.
programming, if you know Excel, if
Because
you know SPSS,
because
if
they
you
know that they're kind of
Access,
related, like. So it's a good skill to have, and Excel is so easy. Don't
Yeah,
worry
I
about
know,
it.
I
Just
know.
learn it. Go to any online course and try to do
Yeah,
it.
I mean, to an extent, I went through your whole course. So like I have an idea about pivot tables and
Mhm,
dashboards and stuff because last semester I was having issues with Access, so I tried comparing it to Excel and learning it in Excel first, and then
Oh.
applying the cross tabs.
Yeah, so it's not a big deal. Excel is easy. Like you can learn it on your own. It's just that you have to learn. It's kind of the purpose here is to replace SPSS by Excel in organizations that don't have SPSS. That's what you have to learn more in Excel than anything else. But you can get there till you understand other things in Excel. Right? Should be good. I mean, I know it's a tough decision, but there's no one definite answer.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So in instruction it says that we have to copy H12 to H13.
Yeah, because there's a formula here for tax. Mm, I think we'll be putting a formula here.
Okay, so but we cannot copy H12 amount over here.
Yeah, because this was remember this is we don't calculate totals of taxes. We want to calculate the tax percentage from here, from this row. That's why we don't copy it from here to there.
Oh, okay.
Logically, it is not correct.
Okay, it makes sense.
Right,
Okay,
that's why.
Okay, that's
Okay?
fine. Thank you.
It's just because of the logic,
Okay.
not why are we not doing it. Okay, guys, let's start. Yes.
Before you jump into that, a couple of my group asked me to come up to you to let you know we're going to be absent next week.
Yeah, I need
did
that
send
sick-
you an email last
No,
week.
last week.
Yeah, I have a copy of it. If you want, I can forward it to you again. Can you come and just verify that this is an email?
What's your
address?
name?
Patrick McIntyre.
If I had, and it said something of being absent and going.
Yeah,
No.
I have the email right. Can you just
Yeah,
come
no,
verify
I
that?
never received it. It would be the wrong address.
That's you. That was sent last week. I'm not sure. Just my card. I said it to all the rest of
Even if I don't have an answer, I say talk to myself. So maybe I got one.
Oh, sorry, not the It's because reconstruction.
Yeah, but if I have it, then I usually say something back so that
Number 6.
Okay, so we did you did listen.
yeah. Okay, so I didn't stop. So that means I have to know what is going on.
Yeah.
Team members and teams, yeah.
Well, change those.
Yeah, so I didn't I don't have the names.
The name
Only said my name. Little bit, remember, I still don't know.
And that's fine. That's again, that's my
Maybe because I get more names than I may have, we not have registered.
So yes, I did mention.
Oh, yeah, okay. And because I don't know names, I'm
Would you like me to send you a new email?
no, that's okay. So you have 3 of you? and then-
Myself, let's see right here. Patrick right there.
Okay, so guys, people are missing, people are going to be missing how many? So 6 of you?
Yeah.
Only 6 of you are missing?
Yes, next week, next Thursday's class.
So not as if there are many groups going, it's just 6 people out of 25. So you know what, you can make an alternative, you have to see, because I have to trust you then that you will do it individually, that you will do it in this stipulated time. That all matters, because everybody else, whatever everybody else gets is what you do. So we'll figure out, it's not a big deal.
Okay.
So what you need to do is next Thursday, since you guys are not coming, send me an email Thursday morning or Wednesday evening kind of near the time. Then I will empty out. So then I email back saying the assignment is up and tell you the rules. But the rules will be simple. You do it individually and you can take, I mean, you can look for help on the net, but you don't copy and paste. And you do it in stipulated.
The only stipulation is that this time next week we will be occupied.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll have to give you something else, and that's what I said. I'll have to you just have to be honest. So I say whenever you start finishing within 2 hours and submit.
Okay.
And I can say, oh, give me next week. So if you're free, if you're done whatever you're doing by Friday, I'll say, okay, submit it by Friday midnight. So that way, whenever you have time, let me know that you'll be busy Thursday whole day, so I definitely won't say submit it on Thursday midnight because you won't do it anyway, right? So I just have to know.
In case we
We'll
get
have
to make
time.
it to the finals, we have
Then
to
you have
have
Friday,
something,
right?
Yeah.
So then I have to say then, so that's what I also know, when will you be able to do it? So that all of you are given the same time.
So you can send it to us on Saturday morning and.
You know what, that's another thing, it will be up on that, so I have no control over you picking it up anytime, and you doing it whenever, you see, so that's where the honesty part comes. So you only do it when you are ready to do it, and you say, I'll take 3 hours to be fair to everybody else. That's the thing, so I post it on Thursday, so if you wanted to, you could just download it on Thursday and do it 3 days, you'll be doing it, who knows, right, I put it soon, right? So it will be up on Blackboard as usual.
So there will be a timeline, which is just no.
The same,
Not
yeah.
until you start it.
Yeah, exactly,
Okay.
because you can start it and if you're busy.
Is Kat and I actually,
We're so.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we're working.
We're doing for the school.
The auto show. Walkie Day.
Okay, so yeah, that's the main thing that I just have to know, right? And I have to remember everybody because everybody is different. So then it comes to you being honest with me.
Will it be open on Monday?
Yeah, well, if you.
There's still a-
Yeah, then I'll have to know that Cat and Patrick can only do it Mondays. See, so there's so much going on. And I can't keep count with 3 sections, with so many assignments going on and with 100 students, it's kind of tough to keep. So you tell me near the time, I can do it on Monday and can I do it?
Okay, so if I email you on Wednesday night and I'll let you know.
Exactly what's going on.
Okay.
Then I know what's going on, okay? And on Thursday, I'll try to be a little cheeky then. I'll only give it to students who are in class. So it's not on Blackboard. And when you need it, I'll send it to you. Since I have to be careful now with 6 students being away from class and being fair. So maybe next week, whoever is present in class, I email them the assignment. Assuming they don't share it with you. So who knows, right? What's going on behind the scenes? I don't know. Like you could have a friend and say, can you use it? So that's all being honest about it. Or I say, you know what, let me just give it as a home assignment to everybody. But it won't even work for you even then because you don't have time on Thursday or Friday. So you're kind of absolutely, or Saturday or Sunday. So see, you just don't have time. So giving it as a home assignment may not help at all. So who knows? We'll do it. We'll work it out. Don't worry. Okay. You just let me know when it's time instead of way ahead. Then I forget. Okay, so shall we start? So we've done a few, I'm hoping you can do the titles and everything. I'll do more of things that you haven't done. You've done formulas, but I just want to show you something that can be easily done. It's called the point mode. So for example, in the gross pay, for example, go equal to, right? And now it says hours worked minus hourly pay rate. So you can kind of go hours worked into, so you can go, oh, it is C4, or the other way is just click on it. This is called point mode, so that you know the terms. This is called point mode. So you're pointing to the cell in which you're interested, right? And then you go with the multiply sign, and then, so you don't have to, I'm very bad with like reading this way, like I'm bad. So I usually try to select the cell this way instead of making guesses. Because you have to kind of put your eye, oh, I'm interested in this one from this column and this row. So point mode just makes it easier. So point mode is available in Excel. Everybody wants to use it because it's the easy way. And once you do it, do a return, and then all you do is drag it down. Right?
I just walked through the door.
Okay, we just put a formula of C4. And I was saying, instead of kind of typing it here, you can always go, for example, you can, if you wanted to, you could go is equal to, like it's easy.
Did you put the star in?
Yeah, the multiplication, yes, you have to. Multiplication stands for, star stands for multiplication.
Oh.
And there is the BEDMAS rule we will talk about, right? Everybody aware with BEDMAS or no? BEDMAS says what happens first and what happens next. So this is easy. Yeah. What do you call it? Yeah, the bracket, yeah, the BEDMAS. Okay, so the BEDMAS rule is used in expressions when you're doing mathematical expression, and it says what comes first and what comes afterwards, right? So B is for brackets, E is for to the power of, or also called exponentiation, therefore it is E. D is for division, M is for multiplication, A for addition, and S for subtraction. This is called the Bedmass rule. Sometimes also called the Pegmass, P for parenthesis. Okay, P is for parenthesis. So you can either call them brackets for B or P for parenthesis. So it could be called Bedmass or Pegmass. Like in computer languages, we don't call them brackets, we call them parentheses. So it's called Pegmass. Same thing. So what it says is this. We'll take an expression. We'll say 7 multiplied by 2 divided by, let's go a little easier. 6 divided by 3 to the power of, 2 stars means to the power of, or you can also use this symbol. To the power of. This is exponentiation. Do you recognize this? 2 to the power of 3? This is exponentiation. Now when you type it in, you can't do this. You can't say 2. How will you type it in? So you either use the double star or you use the caret sign. You double check what's in the Excel. It could be either. I think it's the caret, but we can double check what it is, right? So I'm just giving an example here. And then I'm just doing it. And then 3 to the power. Now if you're given an expression like this, how does the computer decide? So of course, an equal to in front. How does the computer decide what do I do first? Do I just go left to right? That's one way of looking at it. Do I do multiplication, then I go division, and then I go exponentiation? That's one way of looking at it, which is incorrect mathematically. And therefore, you need this rule. So it says brackets will happen first. I don't see any brackets, right? Then it says exponentiation will happen next. So in a way, this will happen. So this will be changed to 3 to the power of 2. 3 3s are 9. So this will happen first. If there are no brackets, then comes exponentiation. Now it could happen. You could have bracketed this one. You say, how is it different? If I bracket this one, then this will happen first. Brackets always happen first. So you could change the sequence in which you want it to happen by putting bracket wherever you want. And any of these brackets can be nested inside one another, and so on. So the innermost happens first and then it kind of goes outside, right? So if there are no brackets, the exponentiation happens first. Now comes division and multiplication. Now for your information, this is priority 1. Priority 2, D and M are siblings. We call them siblings because they have the same priority. They were both the same. You say, what do I want to, if there is multiplication and division, what do I do? And addition and subtraction are called siblings. So they are at priority 4. They are the same priority. So you say, if I also have a division and you also have a multiplication, then just go this way. If you have addition and subtraction, go left. That's how it works. You could have many additions, many subtractions. I could write something like 2 plus 3 minus 4 plus 9 plus 8 minus 7. Now it has so many pluses and it has so many minuses. Now which happens first? I'm like addition happens first. So do I do this two additions, and these two? Like so they have the same priority. Brackets has priority 1. Look for brackets first. Then look for exponentiation or power of. Then look for division and multiplication, and if there are many of them, just go left to right. They are the same priority. They are siblings. And then A and S, addition and subtraction, have the same priority. Okay, so now looking at this. So there are no brackets, so exponentiation happens next. 9. Now I have a multiplication and I have a division, but they have the same priority. So I just go left to right. So this is 7 6 are 42 divided by, and of course, that's how it goes. That's how Bedmass works. Okay? So Bedmass says B for brackets, E for exponentiation, D and M for division and multiplication, and A and S for addition and subtraction. If you want, that's the order. If you want to change the order, just bracketize it. So for the same one, if I wanted to do my 7, so if this is what was written there, what was it? 9 into, no, 3 into 2. So this will happen first. But if I want to change it, I just put this in bracket and now it is changed. Now 7 into 6 will happen first. So 42 will happen first, then comes this and then comes this. Now back to square one again. Okay, what do I do next? So bracket happens first. Now, is there any bracket in this one? No. Is there any exponentiation in this one? Yes. So that happens first. Now 3 to the power of 2 is a 9. And then of course only division is left.
So every time at a time, it will go through one by one, and it can only work with two numbers at a time. Though we think 2 plus 3 plus 7 plus 8 is adding together, it's not. It's working with two numbers at a time. These are binary operators. They work with two numbers at a time. Right? So you should know when you're writing a formula, what do I want to do? Do I want to divide first? Do I want to multiply? You have to know the formula. And if the bed mass rule works, that's how you want it to be evaluated, good. If you want it to be evaluated in a way different from the normal bed mass rule, then you have to parenthesize it. Then you'll have to put brackets wherever you need things to happen first. Okay, so that's the bed mass rule. So let's see, the gross pay was easy. It was just a multiplication. Now let's look at the second one, federal column. So the federal, you have the formulas here. So this is the federal 0, and notice why have they parenthesized this? If I did not, multiplication, here they're using two symbols for multiplication anyway. So this cross is also a multiplication, and this is also multiplication. If I did not have this parenthesis, then what would happen? 2.2 will be multiplied by gross pay, one multiplication. Dependents will be multiplied by 24.23, second multiplication, and then this answer will be subtracted from this. That's not what you want. Remove the parenthesis and see the difference. Okay, let's take that formula. So when you're writing formulas, you have to know what is going on. So suppose I don't put the parenthesis. I go 0.22 multiplied by GP for gross pay minus D for dependents multiplied by 24.32. They're confusing you. I hope they have made these changes in their new edition. They both stand for multiplication. Okay, so no parentheses. Suppose there were no parentheses. How will this be evaluated? What will happen first? Multiplication. Now there are two multiplications. There is a multiplication here also, and there is a multiplication here also. It just goes left to right. Okay, so this multiplication will happen first. Answer 1. I'm calling it answer 1. And now this remains as per se. So one step at a time is what it does. Computer does one step at a time. It can do all together. Nobody can do it together. Now what is the second thing that will happen here? This multiplication. So you have answer 1 minus answer 2, and that's your answer. Whereas that's not what they want. They want you to subtract. So in here, dependents will be multiplied by 24.23. Every dependent is accounting for 24.23, whatever. This answer is subtracted from gross pay, and whatever you have is then multiplied by 0.22. Definitely, there are two different things. You will have two different answers. There are two different things. Substitute something. Let's take the gross pay to be 1. Just for, no, not 1 will not do, because maybe we'll have the same answer. Let's take it by 3. Minus, let's take, I have 1 dependent multiplied by 24.23. No parentheses anywhere. So this is a 0.66 minus 24.23, which is a negative answer. Can you pay a negative tax? No. So therefore they wanted you to parenthesize it. So they're basically saying do this first. Okay, so if I do this first, so I'm basically 3, my numbers are wrong, I'm gone away. But anyway, the two answers will be different is what I'm trying to show you. You will have two different answers. So parentheses are important. So it depends what formula are you writing. So if these parentheses were not put, okay, let's show it. Let me do it for you. Here, let me see, you will see yourself. Where do we have to put this formula? In federal tax. Okay, come here. Let's put it. Say equal to. Okay, so the formula is 0.22. Use the star for the multiplication, and gross pay is coming from here. Do it here. E4. Don't put parentheses for now. Okay, subtract. Dependence is coming from here, and then multiply by 24.23. I haven't put any parentheses. I have an error. I get a value error. And what is the error saying? You'll always kind of find, let's see, a value used in the formula is of wrong data type, it says. Did I have something wrong? 0.22. Oh, somewhere? Before? Okay, thank you. I'm doing a point mode and I'm making a mistake. Okay, so here is the answer. Just look at the answer. $186. I'm getting $186, right? This is what I get. I get an answer. I mean, you will have an answer, but what they want is this. So I have an answer, but what they want is this. And see if the answer will change. That's what I want to prove, that there is a difference between the two. If I did not put this, parenthesis, then what will happen? Yeah, the answer will be wrong. This is happening first, this is happening two, and then the subtraction is happening last. Now if I parenthesize it, put it in brackets, this happens first. That's happening first. And within this, what is happening first? Multiplication, subtraction. And now see if the answer is different. Definitely it is. So there is a difference in answers, right? So you may get an answer, like I was getting negative answers because I was just kind of substituting values, but you get different answers. Both are numbers. How will you know what is right or wrong? You will only do the right thing if you know the BEDMAS rule. So they have said that's the formula we want. Sometimes you don't have to put parentheses, but if you do, you have to. So now let's look at the state tax. Take your state tax, go 0.04. You could only say 0.4. Mathematics, we always go 0.04. You don't have to. And you have to multiply it by the gross pay. Am I doing it right now? E4 here, and do a enter. Right? So just put in the formulas, and remember after that what we had done, we could just drag, and in federal tax drag. There it is. And notice it's coming in accounting format because I've already, did I format my cells? Oh, okay. They don't want us to format those cells. They don't want any formatting in these. Okay, so go what? Go, it says general. It says general. Why is it coming up with a $sign then? I thought I didn't format it, but of course, there is no magic. It exactly follows your instructions. So if something is not correct, it's you who has made the mistake, not Excel, not the software. Right? So that was state tax. What was tax percentage? Tax percentage was saying add the two taxes and divide by gross pay. Again, let me show you something. Try to do this. Go equal to gross pay. That's this one. You add the, oh, sorry, no. Tax, we are doing tax. So take your federal tax, which is this one. Add the state tax to it, which is this one. And then divide by the gross pay, which is this one. Okay, look at the formula. If I don't put the bracket, I will have G4 will be divided by E4 first, and then the answer will be added to F. That's not what you want. You want to add the two taxes and then divide it by the gross pay. So if that's what you want to do, you parenthesize it. Add my two taxes first and then divide it by the gross pay. So you have to be careful about your expressions. Where do I need parentheses and where I don't? So if I don't put the parentheses, remember division has higher priority than BEDMAS. D is greater than, what do I have? Addition, A. So if I don't put the parentheses, notice what is happening. The division is happening first. So of course you'll have a different answer. Try this one first. It's giving a 243.38. So 240-ish kind of, just remember. And now I actually want to add my taxes first. That's how you calculate the tax percentage. Definitely. Oh, I haven't formatted it. Wrong formatting, of course. So we want to format it as a percentage. Do they want, of course, they want some decimal places, right? They want some decimal places. So I think they wanted 2. So increase the decimal. I don't know, 1 or 2. I don't remember. Chart. I mean, you just have to look up the chart. 2 places in decimal. 2 places. So 1 more. Increase it from here. So the common ones you needn't open, but if you want, you can always open up this to make, if these are not very clear, just open up. See here, I'm in percentage. I can decrease and increase the percentages from here. Right? And I think all these definitely are tax in percentage. So let's go till here and we'll say, oh, there's the same percentage. So we'll go percentage. Oh, no, we have to increase it there. Right? And then the net pay was this minus this, of course, but I'll double check. Net pay is this minus this. Same thing, but in a different, this one. No, this one. No, this one. Yeah, net pay minus, gross pay minus the 2 taxes. Okay, so come here again, which is what it is. Okay, so go equal to, take, so this is called point mode, okay? Take this, and we have to subtract the 2 taxes. Again, if I don't write the parentheses, If I don't write the parentheses, I'll get a different answer. What will happen in this one? Minus and plus are siblings. They have the same priority, so we go left to right. Subtraction will happen first. That's not what you want. You want to again add the two taxes first and then do the subtraction. So how will you change it? Do the addition first and then subtract the answer from E4. That's what you want to do. So always when you're writing numerical expressions, please see that you're paying attention to bed mass. You can't forget it. Otherwise you'll have wrong answers. How will you know I have wrong answers? You'll say, oh, answer is coming. I know the answer is coming, but it's not the right answer. So now you can do this. You can take this formula, drag and drop. You can take this formula, drag and drop. And you can take this formula and drag and drop. Oh, so if this is, it's saying it's short of format, we need more space for it. That's all it means, right? So when you see pound sign, it's not able to show you the whole answer. You need a bigger size. And I think in my notes, it says make these cells bigger, make these cells smaller or whatever. But it was definitely when you see those, I again have a counting here for whatever reason. Oh, 2 places of decimal is not what I want. Oh, I can do it from there too. How many do I want? 2 places. So we'll decrease. Decrease, your decrease, yes. Your decrease, yes. Here. Oh, not even in this one. Here also we want the general one. So take the general one and decrease. Decrease and decrease. There. That's how they want it. You don't have to, but that's how they want it. They don't have any, they only have a normal general and in decrease and decrease. Oh, no, increase by 1. There, 2 places of decimal. So I think I was showing you how to format the whole thing, and that's why I did that. Oh, gross pay. General is showing 3 places. So decrease. There it is. So just make it neater. No money needs more than 2 places or less than 2 places. All money, anything that's money needs 2 places of decimal. Don't forget, whether mentioned or not mentioned, it's you should know it. Definitely, right? Currency, your cents are always 2 places because they're part of 100, right? What is 1 cent? 1 part of 100. So it's always out of 100. So 100 means out of 2 places. Okay, always. Money is always 2 places. If it's not money, then if no instructions are given to you, you can decide, do I need 2 places? Do I need 3? Do I need 1? For example, in percentage, I was asked for 2 places. So I made it. But if it was given 1, then I'll have to make it 1. So money will never be mentioned to you because everybody knows all over the world, after the decimal point, we need 2 places of decimal. It doesn't matter which country you are from, right? Because it's always a part of 100. Like after the decimal point. Cents, we call it cents here. We call it paisa in India. It's always part of 100. That's why. Okay, now totals. Now in totals, if you notice, we have to be careful about totals a little just because not why, it's just logical. So here, there are some totals here. They want from hours worked to net pay. Okay, I'll do it for you and then I'll tell you where we went wrong. So it's just a total. Okay, so how do you do totals? Do you remember? All you do in totals is, so they want to go from hours worked and then you click on this sum button. Or you can select all of them together if you want, and I can do that too. And of course, hide it doesn't make sense of doing totals, but I also want to show you something else that doesn't make sense. And say you can do total. Now, of course, my answer doesn't match. Logically, these totals are showing total hours worked, hourly pay rates, totals and gross pay and so on and so forth. But my answers are different and it is mentioned in my notes, and if you haven't had the time, don't worry about it. Why are my answers different from what they have? So some are matching and some are not matching. So let's see what's matching. So I have, oh, come on. I have 59 decimal points. We need 2 decimal points. We'll do that because again, it's an hours worked is not, it's not has to have it, but that's what we'll do. Hourly pay rate doesn't make sense, so we will remove it, right? Then I have gross pay, which looks okay. The values are okay. Then I have a 2437, which looks okay. And they've used comma style. Notice they have commas. Oops, there are commas in the others. Okay, 460 looks okay. And it is rounded to 2 places. But my answers for tax rate and tax rate are wrong. Why? Think about it logically. You don't do if you want to find out what was the total tax rate, like percentage, what is tax percentage? We are taking the sum of these two and dividing by gross. That's what the percentage is. It's not the totaling. We don't total this up to find out the percentage. This formula is what? This formula should be what? This formula should be the same as the others. You add these two, you go equal. Since I know I have to add them, I'll take this plus this divided by this. That's what I need. And oh, of course, and then I have to percentage, yeah. Percentage and two places there. So the total formula will not do here. I mean, we don't find total of a tax percent. It's logically, mathematically, I'm trying to find out what's the percentage that was paid by people on these tax. So don't use your, I just did it because it was easy and then I can change it. And then the net pay was this. And again, please see that you change all of them. They want two places after decimal year, so increase it. They don't want this anyway, so remove it. This was, another thing we have to remember is comma style. So you can go and look at the comma style. There it is. Every thousandth, I could have done it. If I had opened this, I could have done it with everything. And they want a comma style here. So select and do a comma. Comma is actually not a style in its own right, kind of, but you can combine it with anything. If you want to show comma in currency, you want to show in comma in accounting, you can always go and select it there. The state tax was, again, using commas. I'll have to decrease it here. That's strange. It didn't increase, decrease. Okay. And this was percentage. This is okay. This was again comma. There, looks fine. There it is. And of course, no dates. We should match now. So it's just better that if I kind of go this way. Answer should match. Where were we? 25.16. Oh, you know what? Yeah, because I think this is 2013, Excel 2013. I'll have to change these figures. I don't know why they did it. It was fine. Why should they round answers? It's not correct to round answers like this. Why did they make this change? I don't understand. And this is
that's also like the decimal places is 28, not 34, not 34.
Come again?
The federal tax.
The federal tax?
143.
Oh. And that's, yeah. But that's really wrong.
I know.
Yeah. Oh, sorry about this, guys. I think, yeah, but this rounding is something that is new in 2016. It's not good at all. So I'll have to find a way of not round. The formatting should not do it automatically. So I'll have to Google it. I didn't realize it till you guys. I said, no, that should be different, and it's not. It's there? Okay, so which one, where are we trying to make a change? In tax maybe, right? This answer is different, right? Let's try. Okay, so Jillian says format. Somewhere here.
Number.
But if I want to keep it as a percentage, you see?
But you can still put your decimals in there, right?
No, percentage, sign percentage.
So then percentage?
Yeah, but in the percentage, then it's automatically rounding. That's what they've done in 2016.
Just up the decimal place.
No. But I have to stop somewhere, irrespective of whether I want 2, whether I want 3, whether I want 4, it's still rounding it. So it will round it somewhere. It's automatically rounding it. I don't want it to round. I want it to just truncate, cut it off.
Oh.
It started rounding it. It's okay with tax, for example, but not in money. You know what I mean? I don't want it to round in money.
If you go round down, then it won't round.
Oh yeah, when I round down, but then I have to do it everywhere, right?
But then you just put in the first one and copy your formula.
So you are saying use the function round down.
Yeah.
But then maybe it will create a problem in those ones which were not rounded. Like
If you're only doing it in your
percent, yeah. I'll have to look up. I'll try to find out a solution, a generic good solution for it. I mean, I can play around, but sometimes it may work and sometimes it. Exactly, there is. I'll have to think something on that grounds, but still keeping the formatting, right? I have to combine the two. So there is a truncate function, but then again, as soon as I give it format, it will again, right? So there is something I have to think about.
I've always number 6 and round it.
6 means 6.
Just copy and paste page 12 to page 13.
Yeah, what did you do? we did the same thing, right? We did a total. Oh, did I say to do it that way?
Yeah.
No. Are you talking about my document?
Yeah.
Which one weren't you able to do?
No, I was able to do it, but mine didn't round like yours, mine is mine.
Let's see and you're talking about rounding of tax? Yeah, but tax is a different formula altogether.
I know, but mine didn't round.
But why not? Didn't you format it using a percentage?
Yes, but mine didn't round. Like, ours didn't round. Like it's on a fine, it's wrong.
How come yours is different than ours or mine or their other students? Because is it doing it everywhere? Yeah, that's not how it should behave.
That's not mine, it's just what it's supposed to.
So you are fine. You guys,
Yeah.
16.16.
16, yes.
it's only me who's showing the 17?
Yeah. It's because you have 24.38. You have 37.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
But that was just a formula. I didn't. So you know what?
And same with the top one, yours is 2.2 and ours is 2.1.
For what?
Mine says 24.22.
Cell number
On the taxes.
on the taxes. Oh, okay. So this one.
Ours is 21.21.
Yeah.
There's a lot of numbers that are just the decimal.
So it's not you guys. It's something on my laptop then.
You've got 181.51 for federal tax.
But I'm using the same. We are using the same data.
And I've got 181.45.
Did you multiply federal tax by 0.22?
Or do you think I made a mistake somewhere? Okay.
That number is wrong.
Which number is wrong? Cell number. Give me the cell number, guys. Which cell is wrong?
F7.
Okay, so let's start from here. Is it right? C4 into D4, right? Right?
Yes.
Federal tax 0.22.
No. You put 2.3. 2.8. You put 2.3 at the top.
Oh, you mean here? Ah, okay. But okay, thank you. So the answers are wrong, not because of that, but still the problem still remains. So are we okay here now? Now it is correct. Okay.
5.9 should be 8.9.
Now it is okay. Yeah, but I mean the problem with the other one is still the truncate. Maybe not here, but there is still the problem with formatting where it is. Okay, let's see. This is what I'm trying to say. If I go 1.666666 like this, okay, more than. If I take this and I say give me an accounting symbol, just going accounting, right? See, this should not happen. It should not go to 1.67. It's rounding here. It shouldn't round. Money should not round automatically.
So when you go
Formatting is rounding it. If I wanted to round it, I would use the round function.
yeah, but you can specify decimal places.
But that won't help. That's exactly what I was being asked here. Okay, so let's try. I see what you mean. Okay, so let's go here. Let's increase it, right?
Yeah.
Still rounding?
Yeah.
The rounding doesn't go away. Increasing the decimal places, rounding is still happening. Rounding should not happen in money at least. No. If banks start doing this, every person, suppose in every account, the trillions of records they have, if they start giving an extra penny to each of their customers, yeah, but
As long as it's not always rounding up.
but it will. Rounding means what? Rounding means anything 6 or greater will go up. I'm just thinking from banking point of view. If in the bank, to every customer, the bank starts paying 1 penny more, imagine the amount they will lose every day. Right? So suppose I have, like, it's a small,
Work in their advantage too.
not in the bank's advantage. It will always work in the customer advantage when things are being given out, like they're giving some interest to the customer.
Then they would take interest.
Yeah, but then the customer will say, no, you can't do that. You see what I mean? So I'm only thinking from that point of view. I'm just thinking from money point of view. I have to read a little about it. Like, does Excel do it and there is no way, or is there a way we can do it? I'll have to read it. I'm just thinking from logic. Logically, this doesn't make sense to me.
When we deal with money, we have to be careful.
You have to be careful. Like I'm telling you, lose money like this. You can't imagine how it will go. We had this problem in one of the applications. That's why I'm being so, like, I don't like it. But if that's how it is and I can do nothing about it, that's how it is. You may think 1 penny is nothing, right? You may not thinking it important at all. I'm thinking it from a I'm thinking it like, cannot happen. Money, it cannot happen. Anyway, I'll look it up. This has just intrigued me. Is there a way of not rounding but truncating? Or are there both ways? If I want to change it, can I do? And I'm sure there should be some way. There is a truncate function, as Jillian was mentioning, but then I have to combine the truncate function with the format. I'm formatting it. So I'll have to do something about it. Anyway, I'll figure it out. But I don't like how it is behaving. Anyway, so we've done that. And please understand why I had to change this formula, because the tax percentage is always, it's a formula, right? It's not just totaling up. The higher date, I've already mentioned this, has been formatted according to the date format. You can go long, short, whatever you like. I've done the short one. Okay, the short one is right here. There it is, short date. You can go long date if you want, but I didn't prefer to. Or if you don't want to go this way, you always open this up, go to date, and then choose the one you want. Now, let's do this, the highest and the lowest and so on. I want to show you a few things. I'm not even following my notes just because I think I just want to see them just to see I haven't missed anything. Okay, it's not a big deal. Okay, highest, lowest, and average was just to introduce you to 3 other functions in Excel. Now, if you know functions, good. If you don't, you can always look it up to find maximum of values in Excel. You can always look it up, but we know that they are functions. And if you can't remember them, they're actually right here too. The common ones are right here too. Sum, average, max, and min are right here. Okay. You can always go more functions and look at functions category here. You can just say all. And everybody knows max and min words are kind of common. Like we all know about them. But if you don't know, you'll have to look them up. So I know them because they're common functions. You can select it from here if you like, but it's just easy to type it in. Go equal, go max. And another thing is it will start giving you help. Notice how it starts giving you help. It says returns the largest value in a set of values, ignores logical values and text. You'll say, what's this logical value now? A logical value is a true or a false is called a logical value. There are 2 logical constants. They're called true and false, right? So I'll tell you, I'll just show you. So you could be writing something like this and you'll say, oh, that's text. But notice how it has changed to small true to all caps. This is a constant in Excel. True stands for true, like true. And false stands for false. Okay, so if I'm trying to find the average of such values, it will ignore it. It says there is no average of trues and falses or text value. So that's okay. Go ahead.
Get max again.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't complete it. So I came back. So now that's okay. And another thing that will help is if you start typing here, it will also tell you it will also kind of show you the parameters that are needed. Remember parameters? We talked about parameters last week. Parameters is the values with which you want to work. So for example, if I wanted to work, what is the max of 1, 2, and 3? Just for the heck of it, I'm doing it. What should be the answer? What is the max of 1, 2, and 3? 3. And it will show me 3, but that's not what I want. What do I want? I want the max of these values, right? So this is what you will do. Now again, you can give a whole line of values separated by commas. If you want to work something on the worksheet, just kind of select it from here. And it will fill it up. Again, this is point mode, just easy. I mean, you could type yourself C4:C12 if you want it. Otherwise, you can select it. Close the parenthesis and do an enter. Yes. Okay, thank you. Right, and similarly, now you know highest. I'm sure you will know lowest, right? And they also want a highest in here. I think I saw the number of dependents also coming up, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they wanted it in the number of dependents also, which is okay. So can you make a guess now for lowest? Go equal, min, and then what? And then go min of these, and then bracket, and there it is, right? And then they want an average. Again, there is a whole lot of average. There is an average. There it is. And you'll find there are few. Oops, there are few. You'll say, which one do I want? You can read about it. It says returns the average of the absolute. No, nothing. Okay, let's go to the next one. Returns the average of arguments, which can be numbers or names, arrays or references. Kind of ignore the other things for now. We'll talk about all of them, but that's what we will need. There is an average A, which says returns the average of its arguments, evaluating text and false in arguments as 0. So if it sees a text or a true false, it will evaluate it as 0. True will evaluate as 1. That's not what you want anyway. True will always become 1. I don't have anything. I could use either. For me, average or average A, both will work. Just because I don't have any text or true, false in here. So I'll choose this one. And then choose whatever you want to work with. And put your round break and put your parenthesis back. And there you go. Now, of course, if I take this and I kind of, or I take all three and then go, come on, square brackets. I mean, I don't know what they want for, but I'll just kind of go. So if you have a lot to copy, you can select together and then take your cross arrow here and go together. So there, and double check, always double check. Here, is that okay? Yeah, D4, D12, is that okay? Yes, okay. And now I want to bring something to your notice. Notice how this cell has C4, C12, this 4 has D4, D12, and so on. By kind of duplicating the formula, it automatically changed the references of the cell. C became D because I was going to the next column. D became E because I was going to the next column, and so on. If, for example, I wanted to use some apps, just for the heck of it, I also wanted to do C4 and C12 here also. Like here, let's take something here. Okay, let's do it here so that I don't confuse you. Suppose I want to do any numeric cell. Any numeric cell. Let's take this and let's subtract from this just for the heck of it. This. Okay, so here, notice what have I done? The formula is B4 minus B6, right? Try to extend it just to 2 more cells maybe. What has happened? This will become, so I had B4, B6 here. This will go to the next one, B5, B7. It's the B4 has changed to B5, B6 has changed to B7. If you go down this way, it increases the numbers this way. If you go this way, it increases the column numbers. Okay, that's what it does. Now, for whatever reason, if you wanted to go absolute means I want to do a B4 minus B6 here, also here, and also here. Now, instead, you can do this. Bring your mouse in front of B4 and press your F4 key. It will put a $ in front of B and it will put a $ in front of 4, both of them. Do the same for, okay, let's leave one alone. Just let's do it for B4 and do an enter. Okay, so now notice something. And now again, drag and drop, please. Replace the original. Now see what's happened. B4 minus B6. B4 minus B7. B4 minus B8. B6 is changing from 6 to 7 to 8 because we are going down. When you go down the rows, this second number changes, this digit. The alpha is for columns, A, B, C, D is for columns, and 1, 2, 3, 4 is for rows. When I go down and I copy the formula down, this number changes. 6 went to 7, went to 8. If I take this and move towards the right, what will change? C, the columns number will change. So when you go and duplicate your formula this way, horizontal, columns change. When you go down, row numbers change. But notice something. B4 has not changed anywhere. This is called absolute addressing. You're saying, please use B4 as B4. Don't change it. So if you put a $ in front of your B and your 4, which you could have done, typed it in, I did with F4 key, it's saying don't change the column B, don't change the row 4. Now you'll say, what if I want to keep the column same but want to change the row? Simple. Remove the $ from here. B will remain B, 4 will change. So absolute addressing and reference addressing says this. Reference says like an address. I'm referring to somebody, right? So I say, just for the heck of it, I say chair 1. This is reference, chair 1. If, irrespective of anybody, if Shana comes and sits here, it is still chair 1. And I say, oh, hello, Shana, right? If Patrick comes and sits here, I still say chair 1. So I say, who is sitting on chair 1? The chair 1 remains this chair. I'm referring to the chair. It's an address. Okay? So that's, reference just means an address. And absolute means just take it as its face value. Whatever it says is whatever it means. Absolute, it never changes. So there are 2 addressing techniques in Excel. And the 2 techniques are reference and absolute. So reference addressing and absolute addressing. You notice as you go down, rows change. As you go right, columns change. If you want to use a cell address in its absolute form, put a $ in front of it. And again, $ has 2 ways. Remember, cell has 2 things to it.
a column number and a row number. So if you put a dollar in front of both of them, this cell reference is absolute. This cell addressing is called absolute. Wherever you use it, it remains what it is. Like I had B4 everywhere because I had a dollar sign in front of B, a dollar sign in front of it. This is called absolute addressing. In the other ways where I don't use dollar sign, it's reference. As you move towards the right, columns will change. As you move down, rows will change. And you have the option of and you have the option of not in the addressing, in the absolute addressing, you have two options. The whole address doesn't change. Column doesn't change, row doesn't change. Or column doesn't change, row can change. Row doesn't change, column can change. Dollar sign wherever will work as absolute, no dollar sign will work as reference. Right? So you may need to use absolute addressing. So maybe you want to take a number 80, put it in a cell and multiply that 80 everywhere. So you put it in a cell, use its absolute addressing and multiply by it everywhere. Another thing that is kind of useful, and it's very useful, you can always name a cell. So suppose I have a cell here 80. I put a value called 80 in it. It's kind of odd. Let me put 0.13 in it, our tax rate. We all know that we pay a 13% tax, right? Okay, now I wanted to use this value somewhere and I can go this. I can say whatever your gross pay is. I'm just kind of doing it. I say you will pay a tax of, take your gross pay and you will pay a tax of 0.13 on it. There are a few ways of doing it. I can do it like this and it's fine. Now, generally speaking, if I look at this, I see, oh, the formula is 0.13. What is this 0.13 magic number? What does it stand for? It would make more sense if I could put this 0.3 in a cell. You can hide a cell also. You don't have to show it to. You can always hide a column or a column or a row. I say, why don't I give this cell a name? It's called M4. So I could have said M4 here if I wanted. I could have said this. Instead of using 0.13, I could have said, use the cell M4 and we'll put a dollar sign in front. Oops. And we'll put a dollar sign in front of it because I want to make it absolute. You can type it in if you like or use F4 to put it here. So what is happening is this, the use, see the use. So I do an enter. Now I just take it and drag it to just 2 more cells. Oh, come on. Control C. I just want to keep on this cell so that I can show you. Take your plus and drag. Okay, what has happened? This is the first gross pay into 0.13. This is the second one into 0.13. This is the third one. So notice E is changing to E5 is changing to E6, but M4 is not changing anywhere. Right? So now I don't have, and the use of writing M4 here is that it makes more sense than 0.13. But you'll say, what does M4 make sense? It doesn't make any sense to me. What would make more sense? Take this cell, call it tax, just for the heck of it. Give it a name, call it tax, right? And now in this formula, use the word tax. I'm sure this definitely makes more sense than the word M4 or the value 0.13. So you can name your cells. Once you name your cells, you can use them as names wherever you want. And they, oops, what did I do? M4. Oh, I didn't change it here. I thought I did tax. There. Okay. Right. So give it a name. I took this cell. I gave it it has 2 names now, M4 and tax. It has 2 names. You can use it as M4. You can use it as tax. But the use is now once it has a name, I can use it here, and it makes more sense. And by default, I want to point out something. By default, a name is absolute addressing. Notice it remains tax here. Notice it remains tax here. So named cells follow absolute addressing, not reference. Absolute. So whenever a name is given, like my name, Anju, if you say Anju, it always means me. It doesn't change. Whether you say it in this room, whether you go and say it in some other room, or you say in some other, doesn't matter. Gym always remains the gym. Library always remains the library. So these are absolute names, right? These are absolute names. So this is a good technique where you name your cells and then you can always hide this. You can always take a column, you can go right click and you can say hide a column. Nobody is seeing it. You can even do that. Sometimes you want some values. I usually do what? I'll designate a row much down, not in my worksheet, or a column, away, not in my worksheet. I'll put all my magic numbers there. They are called magic numbers because they don't make sense. They're just magic. I'll put all my magic numbers there. I'll give them certain names and then I'll hide that column from the outside world, from everybody else.
and then I use those names. So random values are not appearing, right? And you'll say, once I hide it, can I unhide it? Yeah, this is what you do. You select the columns on the right or left of it, go right click and say unhide, right? So to hide, you go hide, and to unhide, you have to select two of them, like right and left, and then say unhide. You can do the same with rows and columns. So now you know how to name your cells. Just give it any name you like, but a good name. Your parents didn't call you ABC, right? You all have a good name. So when you're giving names to your cells, give them a good name and then use the name in your formulas. That's a good technique to do. And names are absolute addresses. Don't forget that. So if you want to use references, then like they don't work. So names are absolute addresses. So you know how to do absolute addressing now, okay? A $sign in front of a whole address will make it absolute. If you only want to keep your column name constant, put it in front of just the column name. If you want to only keep your row number constant, put it in front of the row number. If you want to keep both of them constant, put $1 in front of both of them. So absolute addressing has 3 variations. So I'm calling C for column and R for row, okay? So column is that way and rows are this way. So one form of absolute addressing, putting a $sign in front of the C and in front of the R. C stands for column name and R stands for row number. Okay, that's one absolute addressing. Nothing changes. Wherever you use this name, it's like a name. Wherever you use this symbol, it will mean keep it constant. That's what it means. You could take this variation. You don't want to change the column name, but you want to change the row. So if you duplicate your formula downwards, rows will change, right? Because you don't have a $sign in front of it. The third variation is this. You're saying keep my row constant, but you can change my column. So even if you move down, the row number doesn't change. But if you move right, the column number changes. So, sorry?
You lock up the cell.
Yeah, you kind of lock up the cell. You're right. In this case, you're locking up both the cell. In this, you're locking the column number. In this, you're locking the row number. Right. So 3 variations of absolute addressing. But usually this is called absolute addressing. Absolute means complete. Okay. So you know how to name a cell. You know what is absolute addressing, and you know what is reference addressing. Oops. Very quickly, I'll show you the theme. You can.
Absolute addressing, reference addressing.
That's it. Yeah.
What was the third one you said?
No, these are the 2. In the absolute one, we have 3 variations, right? You have these 3 variations. So you have naming. Naming is also absolute. Giving a name to a cell is a kind of an absolute addressing. But addressing are only 2. Reference or absolute. Addresses or absolute. Referencing is also called addressing, if that's what maybe confused you. Reference addressing is also called referencing is also called addressing. Where were we? What was I doing? That's okay. That's perfectly fine. Just because I know I'm short of time. Oh, okay. Okay. You can give your whole worksheet a theme if you like. These are called themes. You can find them under home. No, where is it? Page layout. Yeah, there it makes sense. Sometimes you have to think where should it be and make a kind of an educated guess, right? You can always give a theme to your worksheet and you'll see, you can kind of tell what the themes are. So here are the themes and you can bring your mouse over it and see how they change. See? Each theme has kind of a different look to it. So I'm using the office theme. That's the default. You can kind of change it to Wisp. I don't know. Again, don't try to go too fancy. But notice how things are changing. Some make it neater, some make it more difficult to read. You decide what you want. But this is how you change the theme. Page layout and theme, right? And how will you do it? Okay, let's do it first. So select the whole complete worksheet. You'll say, oh, can I, is it there? This is the easy way. Here, this is how you can select the complete worksheet. So you click on, this is one way of selecting it. It's not a big worksheet, so I'm okay. This is one way of selecting the complete worksheet, but there is an easy way. The easy way is just kind of click on this cell. It will select, I mean, it will select much more, but how does it matter to us, right? Because and this is another advantage that if I add more, I don't have to keep selecting and changing. So select here and then change your theme from here, whatever you like. I don't know. I don't think I've given anything. I like this one actually. It's neater, but anyway, that's up to you.
Oh.
Right? Organic. Oh, organic is creating problems. Again, notice. Changing to organic is creating problems in this date, which is odd. Oh, you know what? Maybe it has more data in it. Yeah, because it has 6 of them. Organic was creating problems. So you always have to look. The theme I'm choosing, the font I'm choosing, is it okay? Like, is everything visible? So change to whatever you like. Oh, that's not working too. Many numbers are moving. Oh, I don't like that one. I'll try this. Okay, here. Yes, your question.
I can't find theme on my
Page layout. Page layout. Page layout, right? Again, as I said,
sometimes it's hard to tell what tab
exactly. Right. You're right. Page layout, because it has to do something with the layout of the page. Okay, this is how you change themes in your worksheet. Another thing I would like to tell you, now you can always look at the formula from here. See, if I click on a cell, I can always look at formulas. You can also look at a formula by double clicking on a cell. I don't like it a lot, but you can do it, right? This, I find this much easier. And then to escape it, just go escape. Come back to normal. Yes.
Can you please explain the dollar thing again?
Which dollar thing?
The one at the back. You wrote on the board.
Oh, absolute addressing. Column will not change and the row will not change. Neither of them. So if I make a cell here, like I'll just put the 013, right? And I want to use it here as an absolute address, and I'll just go 2 multiplied by, 2 multiplied by, just for the heck of it. Oops. 2 multiplied by this cell. Oh, I've already given it a name. Okay, so let's go somewhere else. Escape. Okay, let's go here. I'll put a value 0.5 here. And I'll go 2 multiplied by, okay, maybe I'll give you a better example. Okay, let's try this. You'll see the difference. Okay, try to use an address $B, $4. Does it make sense? Is it making sense? B4, do I have a number in B4? B4 is 3. Okay, so I have something. Okay, so let's try to do this. Oh, equal is missing. Okay, what should you get? 6? Because 2 into 3 is a 6, right? Now try to drag this formula down. As we usually do dragging, right? Has B4 changed? B4 remains B4 everywhere, right? Okay, now in this B4, suppose I hadn't put the dollar sign. Let's not put the dollar signs. This is 2 into B4. Let's take this. Okay, now see. There it was B4. When I move down, what do you expect here? 2 multiplied by what? B5 as you move down? B6? B7, B8? Right? Okay, now here, let's change this B4. Just put a dollar sign in front of 4. Okay. 4 remains a 4. B doesn't change because I haven't gone column. I changed the column. Changed column. What does B4 become? C4. B changes to C because I'm moving right. So the dollar sign makes it absolute. Doesn't change it, right? So if I put it in front of both of them, I put it in front of B also, and I put it in front of 4 also. Irrespective of whether I go down or whether I go right, the B4 will not change. See, B also remains constant and 4 also remains constant. This is absolute addressing. So if you put a dollar in front of B and 4, both of them, this is called absolute addressing. The column will not change, the row will not change. You can use it irrespective of whether you drag it to the right, you drag it down. Nothing changes. But if I put a dollar sign only in front of B, B will not change, but the other number will change. If I put it in front of 4, 4 will not change, but B will change. How you move.
So the first 2 combinations on the board the same?
No. This has dollar in front of both the column and the row. This only has dollar in front of column, but not in front of row. This has only in front of row, but not in terms of row. So these 2 are variations of this, right? There are 3 different forms, but absolute addressing is called, this is called absolute addressing because nothing is changing. But you could use variations, okay? Right, so I have to stop. I will stop. Sorry, I took your 7 minutes. I'll come back and do the rest. It's conditional formatting is left. It's not a big deal, but I don't want to kind of hurry you. So we will finish this off. Oops, I've lost the reference, which is okay. And names will always remain names. You have given names, you'll say, oh, where I forget what name I gave. Oh, I forget what you can always look at names. There is something, I'll come back. I forget. Data? No. Flash fill is new, guys, but I'll come back. Where do I find names? See, I forget myself. Names make sense that it should be in data, but I don't see it in data. You may forget what name you gave to which cell. You can always look at it. It's called the name manager. Review.
I'm not really sure if I understand when you would use, like I understand the math.
Where would you
You
use?
explained it really well, but like, yeah, what
I gave you
situation?
what situation? For example, I just showed you, you can put a value in a cell, a constant value, and you want to use it everywhere. Then you can refer to it. I'll explain individually. Okay, maybe it will make sense. Yeah, that's okay. You may not think of it right away, but you will know it as when you see it. I'm trying to see where all names come and I can't find it. That's strange. Jillian, do you remember where you can look at all the names that are given? Oh, you've never named cell. It's called the name manager. I know it's called the name manager, but oops, but I can't find it. Doesn't make sense in insert. Yeah, page layout. No, formula. Oh, there it is. Formula. Okay, you gave something a name and you forget about it. Like I gave tax and I forget where. You can always go and look in the name manager. It will tell you that on your sheet M4 has been given a name tax. So if you forget, you can always go and look. It's under formulas name manager. And I'll tell you how, I will do more with names afterwards. But this was just to introduce you to naming. There are many more things you can do with names. Okay, we'll do it. Don't worry. I'm going a little, my syllabus, I'm kind of going a little behind, but still that's okay. It's not a big deal. So you can always, you gave something a name and you forgot what you gave it. Like you completely forget everything. You can always come to the name manager. There's another way you can define a name. Like, and you can do it here also. You can say call Anju, and you'll say which cell do you want to call Anju. You can say I want to call my cell M5 Anju for whatever reason. Like you can even do it here, right? You can do it at many places, but naming is absolute addressing. Keep that in mind. Naming is absolute addressing. And they come very handy because cell numbers don't make sense, but a name makes sense. See, student 1, student 2, student 3 doesn't make a sense. But as soon as I start saying names, it makes sense. That's the use of giving names. Very handy. It's very handy. You're not talking to magic numbers, you're talking to names, which tax makes more sense. In math, pi makes sense, calling it pi, right? That's why names are given. We'll come back to it. Thank you for your patience. This is on H. It's called the complete one. It's not yet complete, guys, but we'll come back to it. A few things to be left. So we will definitely have time to do your second assignment next week. I think we will. I'll finish this off. I have to do something else, another half hour or something, and then we'll do an in-class. And people who are missing, please see that you email me Wednesday and refresh my memory. Okay? Because there's so much going on. Like I knew if I get an email, I usually reply back, just saying, okay, talk to me or something, because then I say I've done it. Yes.
As long as we've completed all those steps, is that everything for the assignment? This assignment? Is there anything additional that's not written that you want us to do?
There is something I'll do next week, which will be in your in-class assignment.
Because I finished all of those.
Yeah, but there's something extra.
Okay.
And you know what you can do actually on the H drive? Guys who are not coming next week, on the H drive under weeks 1 and 2, there is a sheet called Measures CTXLS. This is what I'll do next week too. I'll tell the students how to find out mean, variance, and so on by 3 methods. And this will be a part of your in-class assignment. Right? So you can do it by writing your own formulas, you can do it by using functions, and you can do it by data analysis. So if you don't have SPSS, this is another way of doing it in Excel. So this will be a part of the in-class assignment. This is on H. I'll do it next week with you guys. I'm only telling students who will be absent next week so that they know why is she giving this to us. I was supposed to do this last week, but that's what I'm saying. I'm running a little late.
But there's nothing, you don't want the other assignment?
I don't want anything today, nothing.
Okay, perfect.
This is basically just following me. This is just practicing.
Okay.
So this is not an assignment. It is not counted as assignment.
That's on the blackboard.
Which what?
That's like your lessons. You have lesson 1, lesson 2.
From Blackboard?
Yeah.
I just completed it. How could I have just put it?
No, there's like a picture of it.
Oh, you mean we are talking pictures? I'm talking Excel worksheet that I'm working on.
not the Excel worksheet.
Yeah, the rest
But
everything that was on Edge to begin with is also on Blackboard.
Okay.
And I haven't, but I was working on it. That is not on Blackboard. The Excel worksheet that I'm working on is not on Blackboard. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we don't have to submit anything.
Anything? No, not today.